In a world cluttered with the same old stories, there's a beacon of creativity and innovation waiting to be discovered. CHTV isn't just a station. It's a journey into the hearts and minds of storytellers and dreamers. It's a canvas for the bold, the innovative, and the heartfelt. CHTV is where curiosity meets inspiration, where you're not just watching, but exploring, learning, and feeling. With the press of a button, we connect voices and visions, bringing them into the comfort of your home. Join us and let's discover something new together.
Good evening and welcome inside the booth. I'm Noah Bedores, joined alongside Andrew Hudson, and it's a pleasure to be with you here tonight for coverage of Week 7 Carmel Greyhound football on CHTV.
Yeah, I'm doing great tonight, Noah. You know, the Carmel student section tonight is a little lackluster due to the fall break being in action. A lot of kids out of town. We were ranked top 4 on AC's list this week for student sections in Indiana. Everyone in the student section wearing pink tonight for breast cancer awareness. Little lackluster crowd, definitely going to be disappointing for our standings for AC.
Yeah, well, tonight the matchup is the Carmel taking on the Ben Davis Giants, and this is a historic rivalry dating back over a century, but the current matchup total is 25-25, also a really exciting sort of rubber match here tonight between these two historic teams.
Yeah, 25 and 25. It couldn't be more even for these historic teams. The combined 19 football state championships between Carmel and Ben Davis. Ben Davis having the lead with 10-9 on the Carmel Greyhounds. Carmel Greyhounds this season are 3-3, sitting at 500. We saw them drop to under 500 after losing to Brebeuf. But last week they came back against North Central and we're back to 500.
Yeah, and like you kind of mentioned, it's been a disappointing year for both teams. Carmel sitting at 500, which was the final result of last season. Ben Davis, coming off a state championship, is only 1-5. And you can definitely credit that to losing quarterback Thomas Gotkowski, who is currently the quarterback at Miami, Ohio University, while he's a freshman sitting on the bench. But that's definitely a massive loss for the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants have a struggling season at 1-5. This historic program is not finding what they need to this season. Same with the Carmel Greyhounds. This is the first time that neither Ben Davis or Carmel have been ranked while facing each other in this historic matchup.
Now, as we get closer towards the end of this season, Carmel obviously has not given up yet, and I really believe that they can muster up a couple wins out of these last 3 and finish with a winning record. But in that absolute possibility, just for the record, it has been a long time since Carmel has had a losing record. Going all the way back to 1997 was the last time that Carmel finished the year under 500. So they're definitely flirting with that possibility. Coming into tonight against Ben Davis, this should be a winnable matchup. Next week they're traveling to Warren Central. That's going to be rough. And then finishing the season right here in Week 9, potentially a pivotal game.
Yeah, and the Carmel Greyhounds, this is not a gimme season. 3-3, they are on the fence of this historic losing season, being under the 500 record. They are really close, and they need to win these next 3 games to stay above that 500 mark if they do not want to go in the history books for the wrong reason here.
Yeah, and the big thing to notice, though, is that homecoming 2 weeks ago we had here, that was a disappointing loss for Carmel, but they were able to bounce back going into North Central. North Central, obviously a rough team, but they were able to get that bounce back win, which is definitely what you want to see if you're a struggling Hounds program.
Yeah, and for the Carmel Greyhounds, it's going to be a big key to get this momentum moving with a couple wins in a row. We've seen the Greyhounds winning off and on weeks, winning and losing, and having good games, good breakout games for multiple players. We need to find player consistency throughout these players, too.
Yeah, for sure. And taking a look at tonight's keys to the game, Andrew, what do you got there?
Yeah, for the keys of the game, for the defense, it's going to be a big role for a lot of these defensive players to step up and fill some positions. Eugenio Ojada is out this week on the defensive line for some off-the-field reasons. We can also see Adel Navarrete out with a hip injury. John-Luc Gachel still leading the team in tackles after being out for the past 4 weeks now. Big key player for the Greyhounds. But the Greyhounds do have Drew Cannon back in the lineup after having some knee problems. And we have Ozzie Pollard still out last week due to a torn ACL, playing both sides of the ball. And how is that going to affect the offense, Noah?
Yeah, another key to the game we're looking at tonight is for Anthony Colner to keep spreading the ball. 6 targets were reached last week at North Central. That ties a season high for him. Williams, Hardester, Bellin among those targets. So definitely a big key for Anthony Colner to continue to find a surplus of targets tonight. the last key to the game, looking at just win 2 in a row. It's been a while since Carmel's been able to rattle off 2 consecutive wins, going all the way back to weeks 5 and 6 of last season. So that's going to be a deciding factor, is can Carmel just get past that hump of win 2 in a row?
Yeah, I mean, if they win 2 in a row, they can definitely go and win 4 in a row. They still have 2 more games that are both easily winnable for the Greyhounds. It's just a matter of fact, if everyone shows up and does their job and puts in the effort to get this Greyhound team through the finish line and into their first sectionals game.
We'll go and take a look at the starting offensive players for the Carmel Greyhounds. Anthony Koellner still at the helm, that captain, the quarterback. This is his second full year at the helm. Who else is to be looked at on this Carmel offensive squad?
Yeah, for sure. On the rushing side, Drew Pemberton, last week he saw limited minutes because of the blowout against North Central, but tonight I think he'll get early minutes. If we start to see a blowout, potentially like North Central, I think his minutes will be limited again. We can see more from Josiah Gilmore and Kahil Hardsetter back in that running back position, filling in for Pemberton if they are taken out due to a big lead in advance.
Yeah, the offensive line has been very healthy all year, and that's been a difference maker for Carmel, giving Koellner time in the pocket and giving guys like Andrew Pemberton room to run. Looking at the bottom of that depth chart, you see Brady Knudsen filling in for the injured Ozzie Pollard. What difference does he make?
Yeah, Knudsen's a big guy. He hasn't seen many minutes because of Ozzie Pollard's injury. Against Buff, we kind of saw him step up a little bit, but he's definitely going to need to step up because Ozzie Pollard was a threat, being big, being able to block, being able to get down the field. He had good hands, so Knudsen has a big role to fill, but I think he has the capabilities to do it for sure.
Just moments away from kickoff here on CHTV. Again, I'm Nobadors with Andrew Hutzing. It's a big matchup tonight. 2 thriving programs that are just not having the best of years. So we'll send it down to the field for kickoff. The Giants recovered by Brandon Adams and healthy field position to start off for Carmel. What's the mindset there on the first kickoff of the game?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that play was there. We did see Brandon Adams kind of fumble the ball when he tried to catch it. I don't think he was ready for that. Neither was I, quite honestly, for that short kick, but the Ben Davis Giants could have made a play on that ball and could have honestly had the ball to start off this half.
Yeah, and it really wasn't a committed onside kick. It was sort of a squib that just, it wasn't expected, but it didn't do a whole lot of damage. So Carmel starting off on offense here. First down for the Hounds. Koellner hands it off to Pemberton. He's got some room to run. Brought down after a gain of about 3. And what a difference Andrew Pemberton has been so far this year, stepping up for the injured Colin Johnson.
Yeah, most certainly. Pemberton has had some breakout weeks. Last week, I think he would have had a crazy game if they allowed him to play the whole game. But they were definitely seeing him for this week and the prior next weeks as he wants to stay healthy in this running back position, leading the team as running back number 1.
Hounds decorating themselves in pink tonight for breast cancer awareness. Second down. Koellner, pocket collapses. He'll move right. Trying to get away from defenders. Throws it away. And an incomplete pass. Target was Jake Bellin, but they're calling him incomplete.
Yeah, no, I think this week we're going to see a lot of different targets for Anthony Koellner as we did last week. We saw Dom Shockley getting action, a lot of action with 3 touchdowns. Jake Bellin always getting a lot of action. And we can even see players like Nate Williams and Kahil Hardsetter getting more touches on the ball last week.
3rd and 6 for the Hounds on this opening drive, trying to strike first in this rivalry game. Play clock halfway through. Koellner taking his time. 2 options on either side. Koellner to pass. Finds Nate Williams approaching first down. Looks like he has just enough, but it's going to be a close call.
Yeah, Nate Williams has been a threat the whole season for the Greyhounds. It's great to have him back this season. He's stepped right back up from where he left the Greyhounds after moving to Chicago for 2 quick years. But the Greyhounds have used him a lot this season, and I don't know if they would be the same team without him. Against Brebeuf, he had 3 interceptions on the defensive side, so we can see him almost being like a Travis Hunter of sorts for the Colorado football team, playing both sides of the ball and being effective in playing both sides of the ball.
Yeah, for sure. First down for the Hounds. Almost 2 minutes gone already in this first quarter. Handoff to Pemberton, and he's brought down quickly with little to no gain.
That was actually...
Yeah, make that Craig Kepler getting his first carry of the evening. And so that's definitely what we've been talking about all season, is the depth of this Carmel team. And so Pemberton definitely is that running back one with the injury to Colin Johnson, but seeing Craig Kepler getting some carries is also what we're going to see a lot of tonight.
Yeah, I think we need to give Kepler the ball, but I think Pemberton needs to get more touches. We can see his efficiency is just so much better than Craig Kepler's throughout this season. And Drew Pemberton having one more season with the Greyhounds.
Corner pass, pressure comes. Just gets it away, and another incomplete pass. Target there was Liam Mann, but that brings up a 3rd down and long.
Yeah, one of our keys to the game was keeping Colner protected in the pocket. We can see already that he's being pressured heavy by this Ben Davis Giants defensive line. They are chasing him down, putting pressure on Colner. He's having to make quick passes already, and I think already we'll see this throughout the game. So this might have to change Anthony Colner's mindset a little bit the rest of the game.
3rd and 10. Ben Davis, a strong defense like we've been talking about. Corner trips right. He'll pass. Finding Liam Mann up the middle. Isn't enough for a first down. They're going to say yes, it is.
You know, I could have even seen a holding call there from up here. Liam Mann's jersey was being heavily tugged on. That's a great play by Liam Mann to find that space and make his hands on it, even though he was being held down there a little bit. We can see that Liam Mann hasn't been a big target just because of his size. A lot of these DBs put a lot of pressure on him, and a lot of the times these referees aren't making the calls that I sometimes think they should be just because of Liam Mann's pure size.
Yeah, so both of Carmel's first downs sort of scraping that line to gain, and the next 1st and 10 play is some negative yards for the Hounds. Yeah,
Cahill Hartstetter, our 3rd running back in the game already for the Greyhounds, and it's only the opening drive. This just shows the depth of the Carmel Greyhounds, how many player spots they have for each position, and how they can all hang in there with each other.
Yeah, we saw last week against North Central, Carmel had a lot of guys touch the ball, especially in the end zone. Hartstetter was one of those.
Yeah, I think we'll also see touches tonight from Josiah Gilmore, who had a rushing touchdown last week, his first of this season. So I think he'll be getting a lot of minutes here tonight. So we can be rotating through 4 different running backs tonight.
2nd and 11, Hounds already across midfield. Cornell, he'll pass again. Colner airs it out deep downfield, trying to find Nate Williams. He's got him open. Nate Williams waltzing into the end zone, and the Hounds throw the first punch.
Yeah, that was a great play there by the Greyhounds. A little go route for Nate Williams. Not really much the Ben Davis Giants could do there. Nate Williams' speed really allowed him to break away from the Ben Davis corner. And we can see Nate Williams having many touchdowns this season, just continuing to add on to his dominant season.
Yeah, Williams being a dominant force so far this year. Sort of that Christian Peterson type player we saw last year, where he's able to play both sides of the ball when needed and do it well.
Yeah, Nate Williams has a threat. He could go out here on the next possession and have an interception and a pick 6 before we even know it. And keeping the offense off the field, he just does so well for both sides of the ball.
Lucas Christian Murphy in to kick the extra point. He had some struggles in the homecoming game. We didn't see a whole lot of him against North Central, but he is back in doing the kicking duties for the Hounds. His extra point is perfect, so he's already 1 for 1 on the night, and it's good to see the young man getting some confidence. We spoke to some of his people earlier this week after the Brebeuf game, and they said that he's his own biggest critic. And so he really took that Brebeuf game personally, trying to get better, trying to prove that he is not, the liability that a lot of people thought he was. So hopefully we're going to see some consistency from Lucas Christian Murphy so far tonight.
Yeah, but I think he doesn't need to put himself down. I don't think that game should have came down to him having to miss an extra point and an extra field goal. That game should have been won throughout the entirety of the game, being more dominant than the Brebeuf Braves. That game should not have come down to those 2 kicks, but in the end it ultimately did, which is super unfortunate because the Greyhounds had a lot of dominant possession in the first half.
So the Hounds strike first here on this chilly Friday night, 7-0 Carmel. Just over 8 to play in the first quarter. They'll send out the special teams and send it away to the Giants. Matthew Obermeyer doing the kickoff for Carmel. So we're seeing a bit of mixed responsibilities between the two Carmel kickers. You have Christian Murphy, you have Obermeyer, and it looks like they're each taking some personal responsibility in this game.
Yeah, I mean, both kickers are both dominant kickers in the state. Matthew Obermeyer is ranked #1 kicker for his class, and Lucas Kirsch is also up there for #1 in his class as well.
Ben Davis, 3 guys back to receive. It's an additional kick return than Carmel sends out. Kick will be brought out at the 20. 25, making some moves. Flag comes in. 40-yard line, approaching midfield, and finally running out of bounds is Elijah Price. So Elijah Price is running back 1, but he's also doing the kick returning for Ben Davis, and he has been a difference maker so far this year as we see what the flag is for, potentially bringing this impressive kick return back.
Yeah, the Ben Davis Giants could have had better kick position than the Greyhounds to start, and we thought the Greyhounds positioning was great. But yeah, this penalty looks like it's going to be bringing the Ben Davis back for holding on the kick. So that's going to be really tragic as they're set back to the 20 and not out at the 50.
Yeah, that's definitely not what you want if you're Ben Davis. You're a struggling team. You're sitting at 1-5, and you need something to get this game going if you're the Giants, and that's not what you want.
Yeah, it's a brutal start going down 7-0 and now having a penalty as they could have been at the 50. That would have been a great momentum boost for them to start off this game strong and keep this game flowing for them.
Joe Goss, the quarterback for the Giants. He hands it off to Price. Price across the first down line, and a productive first carry for Elijah Price.
Yeah, Elijah Price has been dominant from the Ben Davis Giants this year. I think they need to continue to hand the ball to him and see what this Carmel defensive line can do, as many people are having to fill in for missing players on the D line, Adel Navarrete and Eugenio Ojada being 2 of those.
Another 1st and 10, hand off to Price. He's got nothing there, and he's stuffed behind the line of scrimmage.
Stop by 52, Caden Bowers for the Greyhounds.
That's a great stop there by Caden Bowers on the Greyhounds defensive line, able to get the stop and force the Ben Davis Giants to be back where they are for 2nd down.
Yeah, when you have those holes on the defensive line, it's good to see Bowers stepping up. He's been a starter all year, but splitting some snaps with Eugenio, but with Eugenio missing this first half, it's good to see him make some moves. Stapleton gets the reception there, and he brings it across the line to gain for another 1st down.
Yeah, Ben Davis Giants have some great momentum here, looking almost like the Greyhounds' previous drive, having just marching down the field. Will we see a quick score from them, or will the defense be able to work something out?
Yeah, Ben Davis already working quickly. Goss to pass again. Finds Zachary. Zachary gains about 5 yards there. Mark Zachary playing both sides of the ball also tonight. We see that consistently in this Ben Davis squad, is that's potentially where we're seeing them lose these games, is that guys are just getting worn down. You see Jeremiah Finch, Mark Zachary, Javaria Williams all playing both sides of the ball, and they're going to get worn down quickly.
Yeah, this momentum for the Ben Davis Giants is really what they need right now after a slow start to the season.
2nd and 5, Price already across the line to gain. He's brought down just short of the Hounds' 40-yard line. Crossing midfield are the Giants, and they're working quickly, and they are cooking.
Yeah, if I were the Greyhounds, I would be worried about Elijah Price right now, as he's already had 2 big 15-yard-ish runs for 1st down opportunities. The Greyhounds need to find an answer for him here early, so he's not a problem throughout the entirety of the game.
New set of downs, flea flicker play. Goss airing it out deep downfield. He's got a wide open man. Is he in? Yes, he is. Stapleton finds the end zone. And Ben Davis on their way to knotting this thing up at 7.
Yeah, that was a really quick and good answer from the Ben Davis Giants. This is what they need to keep their momentum going through the game, as we've seen a slow start to the season for them. So that is a big, big play right there. We can see 2 touchdowns now, both being long go routes from both Carmel and Ben Davis. How will this passing game be effective for both of these teams, as we've already seen 2 receiving touchdowns here with 6:40 left in the first?
Yeah, we've seen Anthony Colner from Carmel already have a really impressive year slinging the ball, but the biggest issue has been the defense, and primarily the cause of that issue is the injuries. And so we're going to probably see another shootout tonight, like we've seen in a lot of games previously, where Anthony Colner can have a great game, but the defense has to be able to stop Joe Goss from airing it out like he just did.
Yeah, the DBs are really going to need to step up. We saw them starting to lack a little bit against Brebeuf there, so the DBs really need to show up and get these wide receivers covered, especially being Dylan Gold and Aaron Fedorcha. They really need to lock in for the Greyhounds and get the stops that the Greyhounds need.
6:40 left to play here in the first quarter, all tied up at 7, and we might be in store for a very back and forth game here on this rivalry night at Carmel Stadium.
Yeah, I'm liking the pace of this game. It's quick, it's efficient, they are making good plays. I mean, I think the Greyhounds have a great opportunity going down and answering themselves. So it's just going to be a question of who can keep the momentum running the longest, who can have the stops on defense when needed.
Giants set to send it away. Shockley and Hardester receiving the ball for Carmel.
92, Ryan Garcia-Diaz, the kickoff for Ben
Garcia-Diaz, the kicker for the Giants. He'll send it away after his team knots this game up. Both quarterbacks already over 60 yards out of the air after this opening drive. Another squib kick by Garcia, brought out by Liam Mann right around his own 40-yard line.
Yeah, it's an interesting approach there from the Ben Davis Giants. I'm not sure what their kicking strategy is here. Maybe just trying to force a little bobble, make some of the guys who aren't used to receiving the ball in the kickoff a little uncomfortable. We can see Liam Mann there was able to catch it and secure it. We saw Brandon Adams fumble the ball around a little bit. Maybe that's what they're looking to do, but they're not sending the ball deep, and they're giving the Greyhounds great yard position, which is really strange because of the first drive that we saw from the Greyhounds being advanced the ball really quickly, being in good scoring range.
Right, and this might be the last time you see that attempt from Ben Davis when you're giving Carmel excellent field position. They're proving themselves to be able to march down quickly with this explosive offense that we've seen. 1st and 10, Colner to pass. Chips it off to Pemberton. He's got room for a first down, and he scurries out of bounds after a gain of 12.
Yeah, this is going to be I think this is going to be a breakout game for Drew Pemberton, already having about 22 yards on the night and only 1 reception and 1 rush. I think we need to continue to feed Pemberton the ball and see what he can do. Let him run upfield, let him use his speed and shiftiness to break through and get past the Ben Davis Giants defenders.
So 1 play into the drive, Carmel already across midfield, 6:33 to play. Carmel at the Ben Davis 46-yard line. Colner with trips right. Williams on his left. Colner to pass again, looking for Bellin. He'll scramble now. Pressure comes. Colner trying to get rid of it, nearly picked off on the defensive line. That's Bertram trying to pick it off, but off his fingertips, bringing up 2nd down and 10.
Yeah, Colner really toying with the defense there, kind of staying in the pocket. I think he needs to work his way out a little bit and not stay in the collapsed pocket, because that's where we see a lot of these sacks happening. And then we're overworking the O-line, making them work a lot longer if he's staying in that pocket rather than scrambling and trying to find something on the run or run the ball himself.
Looking at this Ben Davis defensive line, Jeremiah Finch playing that right lineman. He's playing both sides of the ball tonight. Second and 10, Colner hands it off once again. And little to no gain. This Carmel rushing effort has been weak.
Yeah, the rushing effort's been kind of weak and lackluster, except for 1 early run from Drew Pemberton. I think they need to continue to see what he can do, though. Don't just quit on the run game early and settle for pass game, but continue to get Pemberton touches on the ball, because we've seen what he can do when he has those touches, breaking out for 40, 60-yard touchdowns even.
Carson Mace back in the game as a receiver. Have not seen a whole lot of him so far this year. Yet to see Brady Knudsen playing an offensive snap yet tonight. 2nd and 10. Colner, nobody in his backfield. He'll air it out. chips it downfield, and right on cue, there's Carson Mace for a first down.
Yeah, it's great to see Carson Mace getting some action, as you said, Noah. We haven't seen much from him this season. Will that be a momentum booster, build some confidence there for him to go down, run these routes, and make some catches for the Greyhounds, and really step up in a role for the Greyhounds, and contributing to the game greatly for the Greyhounds.
And this is going back to our key to the game. We talked about Conner wanting to spread the ball out more. 6 targets were reached last week, and he's already trying to surpass that number.
Yeah, that's a record there for Conner, that 6 mark. Could he get 7 tonight? I think he could. We've seen a great rotation of spreading out the ball throughout these wide receiver core already.
Fresh set of downs for the Hounds. Quick pass from Conner trying to find Dom Shockley, and it's incomplete.
Yeah, a little bit of contact there from Dom Shockley. He looked like he wanted a penalty, but the ref said no. Dom Shockley last week, really big week, having 3 touchdowns, 1 kickoff return touchdown in one of those 3 touchdowns, and 2 receiving touchdowns from passes from Anthony Conner.
Second down.
So second down and 10. Carmel working on the other side of the field. We're hopefully going to see a whole lot of that tonight. We saw Ben Davis, sort of a chip shot kickoff, and through that we've seen Carmel march down the field and already get themselves close to field goal range. Second and 10, 5:30 to play. Kepler in the backfield, corner to pass once again. He's got some time in the pocket, looking for the end zone. Jake Bellin right there, and it's incomplete, and a flag is thrown.
Yeah, that was a great play by Anthony Coulter, having that awareness to see that flag as Liam Mann was being held in the pocket, or not in the pocket, in the middle of the field. Anthony Coulter knew he had a shot to go down the field and hit a target, because he knew if that ball would have been intercepted, it would have came back to the Greyhounds no matter what. So taking a shot at the end zone there, I really like that idea from Anthony Coulter for sure.
So penalty is on the Giants. That'll give some positive yards for the Hounds.
Holding against Ben Davis.
And that'll move the Greyhounds to a first down, giving them inside on the 20 of their Ben Davis Giants defense. Can the Carmel Greyhounds now work something up after being given this first down for holding on Liam Mann?
So some more fresh downs for the Hounds, trying to work in the red zone and bring this lead back to 7 points. Conner hands it off. There's Kepler. Kepler's got some room to run. Hit hard as he gets a gain of about 6, but a productive effort by the Carmel running back core, as we have not seen a whole lot so far tonight.
Yeah, the Carmel running core been a little bit slow, more focused on the pass game right now, but that's a great run from Craig Kepler to give the Carmel Greyhounds even better field advantage, as they've already worked their way up to the 15.
Gilmore the back in for the Hounds. So Carmel really digging deep in their bag of backs. We've seen some productive nights from Drew Pemberton, but they're going to give it right back to him. And Gilmore stuffed with little to no gain.
Yeah, the Carmel running backs have been kind of finding that middle slot to be really packed. The Ben Davis Giants D-line is doing a really good job of collapsing on the running backs and making them stop for little gains.
So that brings up third down and about 4 for Carmel. They are definitely in field goal range, but it's going to be a question of who's going to be kicking it if the time comes.
Yeah, that's a great question. Who do we put in? Matthew Obenmeyer had a great week, not missing any kicks last week for the Greyhounds. But we do have Lucas Kirstenmorthy, who's been consistent for the Greyhounds up until that Brebeuf game where we saw him miss 2.
Conner in shotgun. We've seen him there all year. Conner to pass now. Finding Shockley near the sideline. He brings it back in. Inside the 10. Shockley falling down. And a first down, Carmel.
Yeah, Dom Shockley has been a #1 target here the last couple of weeks for Anthony Conner. Their connection and chemistry is growing, and they have one more year still after this season to continue in that chemistry. So getting these touches to Dom Shockley now this season can really help him next season grow in his chemistry and connections with Anthony Conner.
Yeah, Shockley had 3 touchdowns last week, including 1 on special teams. He was looking for another one there, but brought down inside the 10-yard line. First and goal on the 8 for Carmel. Kepler back in at running back. Trips left for Conner. Williams on the right once again. Conner to pass, looking for Nate Williams, back of the end zone. Touchdown Hounds. Nate Williams hauls in his second touchdown of the night, and the Hounds strike right back.
Yeah, Nate Williams has already been so dominant for the Greyhounds. Great throw by Anthony Kohner, getting it right to what Nate Williams wanted it, on his back shoulder. The defender really there. The cornerback had no chance of making a play on Nate Williams. Just a great offensive play from Anthony Kohner and Nate Williams. His second of the night, kind of taking over that touchdown 1-2 from what we saw Dom Shockley last week, getting 2 early touchdowns for the Greyhounds. Now Nate Williams finding 2. And he could find easily 2 to 3 more touchdowns, and I would not be surprised.
So here's Lucas Christian Murphy on for the PAT, and it's good.
Yeah, that's definitely big for Lucas, making these 2 first extra points, continue to build his confidence, not be so down on himself, and realize that he's still a consistent kicker, and that those 2 kicks that he missed against Brebeuf in the homecoming game do not identify him as a kicker.
14-7 Hounds as we approach the end of this first quarter. Both teams' offenses looking really sharp, but the defenses have been lacking.
Yeah, these offensive have been really explosive. It's just going to come down to the defense. Which defense can really get more stops? And both defense have shown no signs of being able to get a big stop. We've only seen a couple. I'm not sure if we've seen a third down yet, Noah.
No, for sure. And this Carmel defense has been set with some high expectations going into this year, but we saw injuries. We saw John Luke Getchell go down. We saw Ozzie Pollard go down, and so guys are having to step up, and for the most part, they have done well. We saw Chase Jarrett get a fumble recovery in his first game, replacing John Luke, but for the most part, this defense has been made of paper, and they're just not staying healthy, and they're allowing points at too frequent of a rate.
Yeah, the Greyhounds really need to come together on the defense, really work together, work for each other, and really want to get stops to put some relief on the offense for the Greyhounds, making the offensive job a lot easier, not having to scramble late in the game to try to find scoring drives when they need them, and just have the defense be more effective in getting stops so this game can be expanded in the lead for the Greyhounds.
So Lucas Christian Murphy going to kick off now. So we saw Matthew Obermeyer do the first send-off for the Hounds, but now the alternate kicker getting the opportunity here. Really interesting look inside the kicking room for Carmel. 3:22 left, Carmel up by 7. 3 kick returners out for Brebeuf. None of them are going to get it. It's a short kick by Christian Murphy. Ball is brought around the 35, and there's a lot of room to run. Stapleton across midfield at the 20, at the 10, trying to cruise. He's in the end zone. And a kickoff return for Stapleton and the Ben Davis Giants.
Yeah, that was a very interesting kickoff there from Lucas Christian Murphy. He played it kind of similar to the Ben Davis Giants have been kicking, giving the Ben Davis great field position, even if they would not have been able to turn it. But we saw Ben Davis switch up the field, come around, find an opening gap, and took it all the way up the Carmel Greyhounds sideline for a score. And this game momentum has been shifting back and forth like crazy. Now the Carmel offense, after coming down on a drive, has to go right back out. How will their energy be affected after just playing a set of downs and having to march down the field again?
Yeah, that's the worst case scenario for Carmel is you get a gritty offensive drive, you score, but then you wait about 10 seconds and your special teams gives up a touchdown. That's Anthony Stapleton's second touchdown already. So we see 2 Stapleton touchdowns, 2 Williams touchdowns. And it's sort of a one-man show for both teams.
Yeah, for sure. They both seen a lot of touches, a lot of explosive runs from both Nate Williams and Stapleton. I think they're going to be continued dominance throughout the game. But this also doesn't give the Greyhounds defense a chance to go out and show what they have and get a defensive stop. Now it's just offense back out, and special teams there also needs to get themselves together and figuring out how to stop the run return game from the Ben Davis Giants, as it almost looks simply easy as Stapleton just found the outside edge on the Greyhounds and took it back. And really, there was only one Greyhound defender there to contest him for the end zone.
Yeah, so both these teams working very quickly, just over 3 to play in the first quarter, and there's a chance that we'll see 5 touchdowns in this first quarter alone.
Yeah, that would be a high-scoring game. As we've seen that the Greyhounds have been dominant in getting points early against Brebeuf. We saw them go up 21-0 and then start to kind of fall off. So the Greyhounds need to hold the scoring momentum throughout the entirety of the game, or else this game could run away from them really easily like it did against Brebeuf.
Yeah, and this Carmel student section appears to already be on fall break. How does the lack of energy here play into this Carmel offense?
Yeah, it's a lot different than our homecoming game. Homecoming game being completely packed. The student section here tonight about a third full of what we've seen compared to the homecoming game. Definitely a lack lack of energy and presence from the student section, which could be affecting how motivated the players are to go out and play for their school.
Stronger kick by Ben Davis, sort of a line drive off the foot of their kicker Diaz, and brought down just short of the 30-yard line is Dom Shockley. So Carmel going back on offense for the third time tonight, trying to go for that third straight score.
Yeah, the Carmel Greyhounds offense has got to be a little bit tired already, just coming back out on the field after playing a good long drive. Now they're going to march down the field again. Will they have the energy to get to the end zone and find what they need to score?
Stop by 9 to 1-1 for the Giants.
It'll be 1st and 10 for the Hounds. We saw Spencer Sell kind of waddle off the field after that kickoff. He had a touchdown last week, but been mostly used on the special teams. Mace in motion. Corner to pass once again. Finds Bellin up the middle. Going to be flirting with the first down. That's where most of these first downs have been so far tonight for Carmel, is sitting right on that 10th yard.
Yeah,
and they've given it to him all 3 times.
Yeah, we've seen the Greyhounds kind of working that middle of the lane slant route for the first down. We saw that a lot against Rebuff too, Noah, where the Greyhounds would just send Dom Shockley up through the middle on a little slant route, and he was almost there every time for corner. I think we need to look at that same route from Shockley up through the middle on a slant, and we'll find connections there for sure.
Colner already with 5 targets reached. Finds Bellin for a gain of maybe 4 or 5 on this 1st down and 10.
Yeah, Anthony Colner going right back to Jake Bellin. He's been dominant for Anthony Colner this entire season. Him and Dom Shockley and Anthony Colner being 3 juniors, which will be a dominant force, along with Drew Pemberton in the running back position. The Carmel Greyhounds have a great future ahead of them, having these 4 dominant juniors running the offense, it seems like.
Yeah, the offense seems to have no issues for Carmel. They've been consistent all year. They've been putting points on the board. Anthony Colner's been setting records, but it's the other side of the ball that has been the issue for the Hounds. 2nd down and long. Pass nearly picked off by Ben Davis. That's number 11, Hackett. He nearly comes off with the interception. So 3rd down and 7 coming up for Carmel.
Yeah, Anthony Colner looking for one of his favorite targets, Jake Bellin again. A little ahead of him there. 3 Ben Davis Giants defenders in the vicinity of that ball. That's a really risky ball to throw up to the middle with 3 defenders there. That could have easily been picked off, and Anthony Colner should be glad that he has another chance to be on the field for a 3rd down.
Yeah, it's the 2nd near interception from Colner. That one going, like we said, to Hackett. Earlier we even saw Jeremiah Finch nearly come up with a pick. So Colner very lucky so far tonight despite the 2 touchdowns. 3rd and 7. Colner looking deep. Tries to find Bellin, but it's out of bounds.
Yeah, the Greyhounds continue to go back to Bellin for the 4th play in a row. I mean, that's a little strange. Usually we see a spread out of the ball, looking for Nate Williams, looking for Dom Shockley, looking for Liam Mann, running it with Drew Pemberton. But we've been going 4 in a row to Jake Bellin. Now the Greyhounds are forced to punt because of the 4th down. And that's honestly a weird play from the Greyhounds, just going deep on a 4th down, or a 3rd down, sorry. And when they could have just looked in the middle of the field, look for a little short route like they've been doing to find that 1st down on about a 10-yard route.
Yeah, it's almost like Carmel got too comfortable on offense. After those first 2 drives, a lot of productivity, a lot of easy connections from Anthony Colner, but that drive was a little slower. So we'll see if Carmel can make similar defensive changes. And there's a fake snap. Christian Murphy tries to throw for a 1st down and well short of the line to gain. So a special teams failure by the Hounds, trying some trickery in this early tied ball game, and the Giants are going to get the ball in excellent field position.
You know, the coaches for Carmel Greyhounds are almost making Christian Murphy look like he doesn't know what he's doing. He sent a kick to the Greyhounds, or the Ben Davis's 35, which they returned for a touchdown, short kick. That was strange. Now they're having him do a trick pass play on a 4th down in their own territory. Very, very strange idea, because the Ben Davis Giants are set up on their 36 now. Perfect scoring range for the Ben Davis.
It's interesting because Christian Murphy almost bobbled the snap, and so you may question if that was on his own will, was like he knew that there was pressure coming, so he just got rid of the ball as opposed to trying to punt it. You wouldn't expect that out of him, but maybe in these kind of conditions there's rash decisions being made, because I would not expect that play call out of a coach.
18, Anthony Stapleton.
Anthony Stapleton with another reception. He's been a staple so far tonight for Ben Davis. Second down and medium. Finding an open target is Goss. That's Mark Zachary for another reception. Those two guys have been really the battery of this Ben Davis offense so far this year.
Yeah, we've seen them tonight already getting a lot of touches with Anthony Singleton having 2 touchdowns for the Ben Davis Giants, and they're continuing to run down the field as the Greyhounds give them almost like perfect field advantage after the trick play by Christian Morthy.
First and 10 handoff up the middle for a few positive yards. Elijah Price with another carry. Going to bring up second down and 6.
Gain of 3 on the Vikings.
The Greyhounds really need to find a way to get the Ben Davis Giants to force a third down, put them under some pressure. We haven't really seen the Greyhounds get to them to that third down yet. What will the Ben Davis, how will they respond to a third down situation?
Goss passing again. He finds Zachary. He's across the line to gain for a first down and a little extra. So Ben Davis taking at will inside the red zone. It's going to be first down and goal for the Giants.
Yeah, the Ben Davis Giants have looked absolutely dominant here on their offense. A scheme, getting down the field, being in good field position. The Carmel Greyhounds need not to give them any more good field advantage as they are just continuing to march down the field and looking for their third score in the first quarter.
First and goal, less than a minute to play here in the first quarter. Price in the backfield. He gets the ball. Defense comes and they strip him down for a gain of nothing. Elijah Price been consistent, but when he reaches the red zone, Carmel's defense has stepped up.
Yeah, we see an injury now from the Greyhounds who made the tackle. I can't tell who that is running up the field, but he looks to be a little bit turn up after that sack. I think that is Aaron Fedorcha, or Derek Fedorcha, sorry.
Yeah, Derek Fedorcha coming off the field with an apparent injury, moving under his own will, so that's good to see as the clock will expire here on this first quarter. Second and goal on the 9 coming up for the Giants when we come back.
As a proud sponsor of Carmel Athletics, Redbird Roofing is excited to provide free gift cards and roofing discounts for football fans who sign up for a complimentary inspection today. We will also be raffling off a $2,500 discount off a new roof. Come visit our booth near the concession stand down in the south end of the stadium.
So we'll switch sides here on CHTV coming into the second quarter. Score 14 all. And we talked going into this game what this game could mean for either team. Definitely still some playoff hopes for both sides despite the lackluster performance so far this year.
Yeah, before we get into this second quarter, let's look at a little CHTV promo and see what they have, the CHTV program has to offer here at Carmel High School.
Glore Insurance.
W earpiece.
To visit Glore Insurance Group for all of your insurance needs. Glore.
Carmel Athletics is the pursuit of excellence. It's looking for daily opportunities to work together, work hard, improve your fundamentals, work as a team, compete together, prepare together, so that when you're ready to go out for a contest, you know that you've done your part to prepare, get ready to do your best. As a result of hours and hours and days and weeks and months of that mindset needing to be put to the test. Winning is not an action. Winning is a result.
4th and goal on the 10 here for Ben Davis. They'll send out their kicker for an easy 3. Line drive kick, and it's good. So Ben Davis takes an early lead here as we get right into the second quarter.
Yeah, the Ben Davis Giants taking their first lead of the game. But thank you to Dylan and Coyer for that awesome sports package that was really beautifully crafted by Coyer and Dylan, showing Carmel's dominance not just in football throughout the years, but in every single sport that Carmel Athletics has to offer.
So Garcia Diaz gives Ben Davis their first lead of the game. What's this back and forth game going to look like the rest of the way?
Yeah, I think it's going to come down who can get those defensive stops. The Greyhounds, they're forcing the Giants to settle for a field goal there and not score the touchdown, which is huge. Only being a 3-point game instead of extending it to a touchdown lead game for the Giants.
So Coloner and the Hounds will come out for their 4th offensive drive. First punt of the game was the result of this last drive for Carmel. So hoping to make some changes here and get the offense rolling like we saw earlier in the first quarter.
AC from Channel 8, he's here for the Greyhound student section. We can see him throwing stuff into the crowd as he always does, getting our student section hyped up. We haven't seen as much energy from the student section yet, but they're really getting into it every time as they do when AC comes around. And this crowd is not very impressive for him this week. I think he's going to be disappointed due to the fall break. A lot of these students being out and not showing up and showing out for this game here.
Yeah, even our own Brendan Melby, ditching the game for some early fall break. So Ben Davis sends it away. Once again, brought out by Dom Shockley. He makes a move across the 30-yard line, and a productive kick return by the Hounds.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of kick returns being unusual. Not really many touchbacks yet. Not really even finding close to the end zone for either kickers. We're just kind of settling it in that 20 to 30-yard range, giving both teams great field advantage to start on their offensive drives, which I think contributes to the score of the game so far, how both teams have been set up in great field advantage and not having to march all the way down from, let's say, the 5 or the 10 down to score a touchdown, but working from more the 30 to 40-yard range and not having to put as much effort on the offense.
Yeah, and that was one of the Carmel's strengths last year, was playing in a short field, but most of those came via the turnover. First play of the drive, a little RPO action. Pitched off to Pemberton, and a gain of 2.
Yeah, Pemberton continuing to get touches. I think we need to work him more outside like we saw there, letting him find that open space, really testing these safeties and cornerbacks for the Ben Davis Giants in the open field, seeing if they are able to match his speed and athleticism. Pemberton being super shifty, he could have you in a little 1-2 step and he'll be gone before you even know it.
2nd and long for the Hounds. Coloner, 2 options on either side. Pemberton in the backfield. Coloner to pass now. Finds Williams for a short gain. Williams some room to run. Gets out of bounds, short of the first down. That'll bring up 3rd down and short.
Yeah, I think Williams needs to be more aware of where that first down is. I think if he would have went for it, I think he could have snuck that first down. How will that affect the Greyhounds now here having a 3rd down? If he could have gotten that first down, gives the Greyhounds a new set of drives. But I think Nate Williams was wanting to avoid a little bit of contact there as he wants to stay healthy for the remainder of the season, as it's coming up really quickly for the Greyhounds.
So 3rd and 2 coming up. We'll see how this 3rd down offense prevails for Carmel. No running backs in the backfield for Anthony Coloner. He's going to throw it here. Coloner pass looking for Williams, instead of going deep downfield for Jake Bellin. Out of reach for Jake Bellin, and another interesting play call on 3rd down and 2.
Yeah, we saw a similar route earlier from Nate Williams, and we also saw that same similar route from Jake Bellin on a 3rd down going the other direction, where they're on a 3rd down and they only have a couple yards to gain. They're throwing the ball deep. That's an interesting strategy. Maybe you could just hand it off to a running back, try to sneak out that 2 yards, maybe a little QB sneak outside, and just get that first down to get that fresh set of downs instead of having to punt it away now to the Ben Davis Giants. As we saw, their kick return is very effective here.
Yeah, so Carmel unable to respond to the scoring drive from Ben Davis. Christian Murphy will send it away. Fair catch is called at the 25-yard line. And another modest start for this Ben Davis offense, trying to regain and extend this lead.
Yeah, that's Christian Morthy's second punt of the night, and I've noticed both times he's kind of been bobbling around the ball when he catches it, which is allowing Ben Davis to collapse on Christian Morthy, putting more pressure on him. I wonder if that will be a problem later on for the Greyhounds if they are continuing to punt, how him and his long snapper can better communicate, better get the ball in his hands, not putting it up so high or low, and really making his job a lot more easy than having to fumble around with the ball.
1 tick under 10 here to play in the first half. Giants leading by 3. We'll send the offense out, hoping to extend this lead to 2 scores before going into halftime. But still lots of time. If Ben Davis can work quickly as they've been doing all game, we should see the Hounds back on the field again. First play of the drive is a pass by Joe Goss, trying to find Horton, and he is stopped before he can get any positive yards.
Yeah, I'm really shocked knowing that this Ben Davis team is 1-5. They've looked really productive tonight, same skill level as the Greyhounds, who sit at 3-3, 500. They're going head-to-head with the Greyhounds, which I honestly wasn't expecting as much. I thought Carmel was going to have an early lead, maybe extend that lead like we saw against North Central. But these two teams are going head-to-head, and it's a really even game, and it's going to be a really close game. And I think it will come down to a couple of plays that make this game.
The most interesting thing about this Ben Davis team, as Goss goes deep down the field, nearly picked off by the Hounds, but that'll bring up 3rd down and medium.
Yeah, great defensive play there by Aaron Fedorcha, being in the way of the wide receiver, being stride for stride, not letting the receiver even have a chance of getting his hands on that ball. And that was a great job and great defensive play by Aaron Fedorcha, which we need to see that consistent more from the corners from Carmel.
For sure. Going back to this Ben Davis team, 1-5 like we've been talking about, but that point differential only at -18. So they're playing close games despite losing most of them. 3rd down and 8. Carmel's defense trying to get a 3rd down stop. This defense has been lacking so far tonight, but a big opportunity to put the ball back in Anthony Colner's hands.
Yeah, the Greyhounds defense has showed some great stops, being able to get these 3rd downs, putting pressure on Ben Davis and forcing them to make plays.
Aiden Dickerson runs off field trying to avoid the too many man call. Goss looking to air it out. Nearly picked off once again, and another defensive stand by the Hounds.
Yeah, that was a great defensive play by the Greyhounds, putting pressure on the Ben Davis quarterback.
Yeah, so Joe Goss unable to put it in his receiver's hands. Grayson nearly with the interception, 4th down and 8, and Carmel's going to be back on the field offensively.
And here comes the special teams unit from Ben Davis. It looked like the offense was staying out there for a second. I was wondering if they're going to go for that on 4th and 8, which would be really interesting, which would have potentially given the Greyhounds great field opportunity if they would have failed that 4th down conversion.
And you know what's really interesting is that we've mentioned how early in this game the offenses were working very quickly. But since then, we've seen the defenses actually turn the page and move at a much faster rate, getting stops in rates of 3 or 4. Which is a much different result than we've seen earlier in this game. As the punt barely trickles past midfield, Nate Williams thought about returning it, but it'll be 1st down and 10 for the Carmel at their own 46-yard line.
Yeah, the Greyhounds really need to capitalize on this good field position. They've seen it multiple times tonight. They continue to get it. Now the Greyhounds just need to take the opportunity while they have the good field position, march down the field, only looking at about 54 yards for a touchdown, which is not a hard task for the Greyhounds. We've seen them work all the way back. Now they just have to work almost half of the way, and I think they can do it here, and they need it for their momentum shift throughout the rest of the game.
Trips right for Carmel. Corner to pass once again. Looking on the sideline, he finds Liam Mann, and he hauls it in for a 1st down.
That was a great route by Liam Mann, and being able to find his hands. We haven't seen many of big action routes like that from Liam Mann.
And that's the strength of his wingspan, is that this is a big kid that is able to haul in the ball. If you put it anywhere near him, he's got the reach to bring it in.
Yeah, I think Liam Mann needs to get more action. We've seen him start out the season really slow, but he's really built his confidence. Against Rebuff, we saw him get a lot of action, a lot of touches. That game definitely helped his confidence. And I think this game, he's going to continue to build his confidence, getting touches and catches like that.
Just under 8.5 here to play in the first half. Corner hands it off. There's Kepler. He gets a few yards there and some extracurriculars going on between some linemen, looking for some flags, but nothing there. Just a little bit of pushing and shoving between the boys.
Yeah, we haven't seen much action from Drew Pemberton, which is strange because last week we saw him in the first quarter have about 81 rushing yards, which is truly outstanding. I don't know why the Greyhounds wouldn't put him in, let him get a lot of touches, see what he can do, let him march down the field and get his momentum flowing instead of putting in different rotations, which then when he gets his chance, he doesn't have that momentum that he needs to get the ball down the field for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, the usage of these Carmel Greyhounds is really interesting because we stress the depth offensively, but for the most part, they've been using the depth almost just because they get to, not because they really want to. Corner looking downfield, trying to find Liam Mann once again, and he brings it in at the 1 yard line. Liam Mann, another productive catch. And the Hounds have first and goal sitting at the doorstep of the end zone.
Yeah, this is some great productiveness from Liam Mann as we've seen him now get 2 big field catches for the Greyhounds. Literally him alone has basically put the Greyhounds within the 1 yard line of the touchdown. Where will they go here? I think a little run game, maybe give Drew Pemberton the ball. I'm not sure if he's out there right now, but we can see him as he's very dominant in the run game. Just get him the ball. But we could also throw up to Liam Mann because the corner that's guarding him does not have the size advantage.
Wildcat for Shockley. Is he in? Yes, he is. Dom Shockley pushes his way to the end zone. That's his first touchdown of the night.
Yeah, that's a great touchdown by Dom Shockley. Really easy work from the Greyhounds offense on that Wildcat play by Shockley. We've seen him get on the board 3 times last week. His first of the night here for the Greyhounds. Nate Williams having 2, Dom Shockley now having 1. The Greyhounds are starting to spread it out, the love on the touchdowns a little bit more than they did in the start of the game.
Yeah, and that was something that we've seen a lot this year was Shockley in the Wildcat when you get really deep into the red zone. And it's been a little bit, give or take for Carmel. Sometimes it's been effective, sometimes not. But so far tonight, it's proving to be a liable use of offense as the extra point is blocked by the Giants. And so it'll remain a 3-point lead for Carmel.
Yeah, that's Christian Morty's missed kick, 3rd of the season. 2 of those.
Sometimes he's just unlucky. It's wild.
I think the Greyhounds honestly just put him in bad positions. Like there was nothing there he could do to avoid that kick being blocked. We saw last week they had a penalty, or against Rebuff, 2 weeks ago, they had a penalty on the extra point, which set them back. Not longer making that kick a gimme.
Evan Parker false start right there.
And then we also saw a far field goal kick, putting pressure on Christian Morthy, and the Greyhounds this week have not put him in a great position either, making him do a fake punt out wide that didn't end up right, and having him kick it short, giving the Ben Davis good field position, and that they were able to return that ball for a kickoff. So yeah, Christian Morthy has been in some tough positions for the Greyhounds. So I wonder how that affects him mentally, as he feels as if he's making the errors. But from my standpoint, I think that the team is just putting him in that position and making it harder for him to succeed in his job.
Yeah, that's the benefit of having 2 strong kickers, is that if you have, you don't want to call them emotional issues, but a little bit of rattling in one of your kickers, you have a very good second option, as we see Matthew Obermeyer out to do the kickoff this time. 7:10 to play. Carmel only leading by a field goal. We talked about how this game should be a very back and forth, fist fight, and we're already seeing it as we approach close to halftime. Ben Davis still using a 3-man return team, sort of a staggered usage. You got 1 man at the 15, 1 at the 20, 1 at the 10. And a squib kick that'll rattle down towards the 20-yard line. And an excellent return by Ben Davis.
21, Elijah Price.
That's Elijah Price once again. He's been doing it all for Ben Davis.
Yeah, the kicking and special teams approach tonight from the Greyhounds has been quite strange, to say the least. We haven't really seen this kind of kickoff strategy, giving squib kicks, giving low kicks, giving shorter kicks. I mean, they're just kind of setting up Ben Davis for some good field advantage here. Yeah, it put a little pressure on Elijah Price to make a catch and play on the squib, but he's proved himself throughout this game to be a dominant force. So I would expect him to make that play. So I'm not too sure what the Greyhounds are doing here on special teams. It's definitely an interesting approach.
Ben Davis gets a sideline warning while we were away. So it'll be first down and 10 for Ben Davis, approaching midfield already. Goss hands it off once again. Price with a modest gain. That's going to be good for about 5 yards.
And you know, Noah, Eugenio Ojada has checked in for the first time this game. We are told he might not play until the second half, but we see him getting some early minutes here with 7 left in the second. That is a good sign for the Greyhounds, getting him out there, getting him some snaps, putting pressure on the Ben Davis Giants, as he is one of our most dominant defensive linemen.
Well, I'd say it's maybe even the opposite of a good sign, because when Eugenio is placed on disciplinary issues and he's going to miss the first half, that means that there's a lot of confidence in this defense against a struggling Ben Davis team. But when you're only up by 3 close to halftime and you already need to pull out the stops and put your stronger defenders in, that's a sign of worry.
Yeah, but it's a sign of worry, but then it's also a sign of, yeah, we need to get Eugenio in the game. We need to get him comfortable against the Giants. We don't want to let him just continue to sit through halftime without getting any snaps. Maybe get a couple snaps in, get the blood flowing, let him figure out his game so that he can be successful for the Greyhounds.
3rd and 2 for the Giants. Joe Goss and his squad have been rolling offensively so far tonight. We'll see if this 3rd down is much of the same. Play clock under 10. Hand off to Price once again, and he's stuffed behind the line of scrimmage.
That's a huge stop there from the Greyhounds, getting them, forcing them out on 3rd down, setting up 4th down for the Greyhounds. And it looks like Ben Davis might be going for it here as the offensive unit continues to stay on.
So Isaac Nelson with a massive defensive stop, but like you said, Ben Davis keeping the offense out here. So this might be a, never mind, looks like they're going to send out the punt team. Except Joe Goss hasn't been told yet. So many moving parts so far tonight for both teams. Ben Davis keeping the offense on the field, 4th down and 5. We'll see what kind of play they use here. Play clock at 5 seconds. And they will, and Goss will punt it away for a very short gain. Shockley wrapped up and brought down out of bounds, short of his own 40-yard line.
Yeah, definitely some interesting special teams approach here from both teams. We saw a little bit of confusion from the Ben Davis Giants. Where are we going to go for it on 4th down? Where are we going to put it away? There's 4 minutes left. If they get that first down, they could go down and score, put some pressure on the Greyhounds to make an effort to score before the half. But now the Greyhounds have 4 minutes, 42 seconds here left in the second to go down and get a score, being on their own 38. They're definitely in the same range that we've seen them kind of throughout the entirety of the game, and we've seen them go down and score 3 touchdowns, being in around the same territory.
So just under 5 to play for Carmel, trying to extend this lead going into halftime. Ben Davis will get the ball coming into the 3rd quarter. Corner gets rid of it quickly. Shockley with no gain, might have even lost a yard there, so that'll bring up 2nd down and long.
Yeah, I like the idea from the Greyhounds. It was there, but the Ben Davis Giants defense was able to collapse on Dom Shockley, really force him to stay inside and not work his way outside like he wanted to do. The Greyhounds need to continue, I think, to work the ball through the middle of the field, find those short slant routes. That has been really effective for them throughout the season. Just getting to that 1st down marker, getting the fresh set of downs so that they are able to further advance the ball down the field.
2nd down and 11. Colner talking to his back. He has 2 receivers on either side of him. Clock continues to run, under 4 minutes. Play clock at 1. Did they get it off in time? Looks like they're saying no, he did not. Or maybe a timeout called on the field. Nope, it's going to be a delay of game on the Hounds. So some more negative yardage coming for this struggling Carmel offense. We saw them coming out of the gate with a very effective offensive usage, but since then they have been very quiet.
2nd and 16 from the 32.
Yeah, that penalty is going to really hurt the Greyhounds, putting them now working 15 yards in 2 more downs to try to get the first instead of having a better field advantage. I don't know what the Greyhounds are doing there. They need to get that snap off as the second half is coming to a close if they want to find themselves advancing their lead.
2nd and 16, Colner to pass once again. He has time. Pressure now coming. Colner moving right. He gets wrapped up and tripped down with a shoestring tackle, trying to get back to the line of scrimmage, and he won't even reach there.
Yeah.
3rd down and 17 coming up, and a pivotal late first half 3rd down for the Hounds.
I think there should have been a holding call there on Liam Mann. We saw him go to the ground there for a second. That could have really helped the Greyhounds out, getting a 10-yard gain, putting them within 5 of the first down. But now the Greyhounds are having to settle for it looks like 3rd and 16, which is no easy task. I think they need to look deep, find Nate Williams for that first down, as we've seen his speed and effectiveness throughout this game.
They'll spot at 3rd and 17. You have that core 4 receiving unit on the field. Williams, Shockley, Mann, and Bellin. Colner to pass once again, and it's batted at the line of scrimmage. Bringing up 4th down and long, and the Hounds can do nothing but punt it away.
Yeah, Nate Williams was starting to get open there, which is really unfortunate. I think he could have had the first down if he makes that catch, makes a good move on that defender. He could have easily had that first down. But now the Greyhounds punt unit is back out. Christian Morthy is in for his 3rd punt. His first 2 punts have been a little interesting, as one was kind of short, and the other was a trick play, which did not turn out for the Greyhounds. I wonder what the strategy is going forward for the Greyhounds in the punt game.
So it looks like the Hounds only packed enough offense for the first 5 minutes of the game. Since then, only a field goal for this Carmel offensive squad. Christian Murphy set to punt it away yet again. It's going to be 2:41 left on the clock for Ben Davis to work with. Healthy punt. Ending up right around the 19-yard line, being brought out by the Giants, and eventually tackle made by Liam Mann after a solid gain. They'll start around their own 36-yard line.
Yeah, the Greyhound special teams on the defensive end looks a little lost on these kick returns, both punt and kickoff returns. They look like they don't know what to do. They don't know how to find the ball. They don't know how to contain who's ever receiving for the Ben Davis Giants, which is really setting them up for good field advantage, which is not what the Greyhounds want, putting more pressure on the defense to get bigger stops in Carmel territory.
There are 2 flags on the field. The officials discussing where they will spot this ball. Potentially a Ben Davis holding call will put him back further. And that's exactly what they're going to get. So, and a face mask on Carmel. So we'll see how these penalties cancel themselves out. It'll be 1st down and 10 no matter what for Ben Davis, trying to take the lead before halftime. And that's exactly where you want to be if you're Ben Davis, as the face mask call looks like it'll bring the ball. Are we redoing this kickoff?
It looks like they're redoing the punt.
They're redoing this punt,
which is really unfortunate because that was a really good punt
for sure.
Christian Morthy. He really put some depth on that ball. Ben Davis wasn't able to return. How could Ben Davis use this now to maybe get better field advantage? Maybe Christian Morthy doesn't have as good as a kick. Maybe he returns it from a kick, a touchdown like we've already seen tonight.
Yeah, it's definitely where you want to be if you're Ben Davis. You have plenty of time, 2:30 left on the clock in the first half, trying to take a late lead here in the first half, but you got to keep in mind that you're going to get the ball to start the 3rd quarter. And so punt is blocked by the Giants and bringing it all the way back to the end zone. So a quick lead change. Lucas Christomurthy cannot catch a break. Rob Reddick picking up the block, and the Giants lead by 3.
Yeah, I kind of foresee something happening like that, Noah. As I was saying, how would that punt, that redo punt, affect the Greyhounds? Had a great punt back to about the 25 for Ben Davis, but now the punt is blocked and returned from a touchdown. Great defensive play by Ben Davis, and this momentum has been all over the place. It's been a rough night for Christian Morthy, as he has been kind of put in some tough positions, a lack of blocking, as it's been 2 blocked kicks, a punt, and a field goal.
Extra point is no good, so it remains a 3-point lead for Ben Davis. And how strange have special teams been so far tonight?
Yeah, it's been a really, really weird game in the special team sense. The momentum has been kind of all over the place. I'm not even sure who has the momentum right now. This game seems like it could be tied. One team could have the lead over the other, but right now Ben Davis is up by 3 with 2:24 left on the clock. the Greyhounds could be their last possession before going into the half. What changes will the Greyhounds need to make during halftime to push themselves ahead of Ben Davis and better themselves mostly on the offensive end now? At first, I would have said the defensive end, but we've seen flipped in the script, honestly, from the offense to defense, kind of for both teams. It looked like this was going to be an offensive-dominated game, but now the defenses are really showing up and showing out, and the offenses have been really slowed after the first quarter was over.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a matter of, just finding that extra energy if you're this Carmel offense. You came out of the gate firing, you got 2 quick touchdowns on the board, but since then they've gone very flat. And so this Carmel team is excellent on paper. We've seen the offense perform night in and night out. And 20 points in a first half is nothing to be ashamed of. But when you watch this game, Carmel's offense does not seem like they're ready to play a full 4 quarters. Shockley will bring it out, starting at his own 15. Makes one man miss. Breaks through another tackle. He's short of the 30, but an excellent kick return by Dom Shockley, giving the Hounds moderate field position with just over 2 minutes to play here in the first half.
Yeah, we've seen a lot of good kick returns from Dom Shockley tonight, setting the Greyhounds up in that 30 to 40, 25-yard range in their own defensive half, which has been really helpful, not having the depth back in their own 10, putting more pressure near the end zone, but letting them have some breathing room for Kohner to scramble back and not have to be worried about being near the end zone.
1st and 10 for the Hounds, trying to get a late quarter score here and knot this game up or potentially even take the lead going into halftime. Kohner, quick fire over to Shockley. Shockley running out of balance and potentially a late hit, but they're not going to throw a flag.
Yeah, the Greyhounds need to get their way out of bounds as they only have 2 minutes, 13 seconds left in the second quarter. Unless they play quick, like we saw from them early in the first quarter, we saw them have about 3-4 plays, and boom, touchdown from Nate Williams. Next drive, similar thing, boom, touchdown again from Nate Williams.
Yeah, it's been a confusing night for Carmel's offense. We've seen a lot of quick-paced offense. We've also seen a lot of, flaccidity, you could call it, from Carmel's offense. 2nd down and 3, you might see them go to the run game, but with a short clock, you really got to hurry up. They will put it on the ground. Right around the line to gain is Craig Kepler. Make that Josiah Gilmore. And they will say he has the first down.
Yeah, it's a huge first down from the Greyhounds. The clock is stopped at 2:08 as they move the chains. The clock will continue to run now, reaching about the 2-minute warning mark for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, you have that convenience where the clock will stop for a moment once they get that first down, but as soon as the chains are moved, clock's going to kick back up. Under 2 minutes now to play. Carmel's got to think about staying in the air. Clock really being eaten at now. Kohner to pass. Pump fakes. Goes deeper to Nate Williams. Williams puts his hands up, hauls it in, and a flag is thrown.
That was an absolutely outstanding catch by Nate Williams, going up, using the vertical, even though he's not the tallest wide receiver on the Greyhounds core. The flag was thrown. Looked like it would have been a pass interference call, yet Nate Williams was still able to haul that ball in. That was a great one-handed catch. We saw a similar catch 2 weeks ago against Ben Davis on the interception, a little arm wrapped around one-handed snag. Really impressive stuff from Nate Williams tonight, having already 2 touchdowns, and the Greyhounds want to continue to get him on the board, because when he's on the board, the Greyhounds are rolling.
Yeah, Williams only 5'7", but he's playing big man football so far tonight. 1:40 to play, chains have been moved. Carmel trying to hustle up a little bit as they've already crossed midfield, trying to get into field goal range, but so far that's been a little bit of an issue.
And the question remains, who will the Greyhounds continue to use for their kicking, field goals, and kicking off? We've seen a little swap between Christian Worthy having a little bit of a rough night for the Greyhounds.
Pressure comes on Kohner. He gets rid of it. Nobody's there, out of bounds.
Kohner's pass incomplete.
Yeah, the Greyhounds need to do a better job of what we talked during the keys of the game, protecting Kohner, putting less pressure on him, not having him scramble. We see him maybe a little hurt up here. How does that affect him going throughout the rest of the game, making the O-line need to protect him more for him to stay healthy as he is needed through this game?
There was a little bit of a late hit on Anthony Kohner. We saw Valuri give him a little bit of an apology as his lineman. So we've been saying it all night that this offensive line has some high expectations, but they've been kind of falling short of those expectations, whether it comes from protecting Colner or giving these running backs room to run. 2nd down and 10. Snap is low. Colner recovers it, gets rid of it through the hands of Andrew Pemberton, and a pivotal 3rd down and 10 coming up.
And that was a really tough pass there for Pemberton to catch. He's not one of the tallest running backs you'll see out there. It's a quick pass, too, right through his hands. How was Pemberton? We haven't seen much of him use his hands throughout the season. He's much better as the ball is just being handed into his chest and letting him work up the field and do his own run game style.
Yeah, like you're saying, that's not typically what we see Andrew Pemberton do, and so he almost looked a little bit surprised as the play collapsed. Colner had to get rid of it, and he was able to find Pemberton, but not something he was expecting. Timeout called by Ben Davis. 1:32 to play in the first half.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting play call here from the Greyhounds. Where are they going to go? I think they need to go back to Nate Williams. We've seen him being absolutely dominant throughout this game. Let Nate Williams go deep. Let him run. Let him find that space. Throw it out to him. Let him make an athletic play as we've seen him do. I think we could also use Liam Mann's size. We've seen him get the ball twice, both touches, advancing the Greyhounds greatly, putting them in scoring position, which he helped set up Dom Shockley's 1-yard rushing touchdown.
When we get out of the timeout, it will still be 3rd down and 10 for the Hounds. You're likely going to see him go to the air here. Out of those 4 main targets, who do you think he's going to go to?
Yeah, I think you got to go to Nate Williams. I mean, he's been the most dominant force for the Greyhounds throughout this game so far. I think you need to let him go, let him run, let him find his space, use his speed, agility, and athleticism to go make a play for the Greyhounds and help them get on the board with 1:32 left here before we come to the half.
Yeah, we've definitely seen some outstanding performance by Nate Williams, but besides that, out of the other 3 main wide receivers, it's been sort of much of the same between the 3. Jake Bellin's been getting some receptions, Liam Mann having a surprisingly good night, and Dom Shockley doing what he always does. And so, like we've been mentioning all season, this offense has not been an issue. 1:32 to play coming out of the timeout, 3rd and 10 for the Hounds. 2 receivers on either side for Colner. Play clock at 3. Just gets it off. Colner to pass. Pressure comes. He's moving right. And he'll go down. Anthony Colner sacked once again.
Yeah, it's really unfortunate there from the Greyhounds as they aren't able to advance the ball to a potential field goal position. But looks like the offensive unit will be staying on for a 4th down, which is honestly kind of surprising considering their last 3 plays here. They haven't really found much of a push towards the 1st down marker, so they're going to need a really well drawn out play here to get them to that 1st down marker or even past that 1st down marker to set up for either a field goal or a touchdown.
So Gavin Lamb with his first sack of the night. Game clock under a minute. Timeout called on the field by Carmel. We'll see coming out of this timeout if they keep the offense on the field or if they opt for a field goal or possibly even a punt. You're in sort of this no man's land right now if you're Carmel. But the clock is on your side where if you want to go for on 4th down, you're not giving Ben Davis a whole lot of time coming out of it to get some offense going. So I won't be surprised if we see this offense stay on the field, but with 4th down and 15, it's a tall task.
Yeah, it is a very tall task for the Greyhounds, but I think they have the ability to do it. We've seen them continuously make 15-yard plus plays. Now they just need to find that play under pressure. Coming to the close here in the 2nd quarter, they do not want to be going down into their locker room, being down to Ben Davis Giants. Not something they want to do. We've seen this last week with Buff. It was super close going into the half. The 2nd half was a real struggle for the Greyhounds. So the Greyhounds need some momentum here going into the 2nd half to really keep their momentum flowing on the offensive side, as we've seen a really, really slow game from the Greyhounds after going up big in the 1st quarter, kind of being hand-in-hand with Ben Davis.
We've seen Matthew Obermeyer warming up on the sideline. He potentially could be the answer if Carmel calls for a field goal late in this 1st half. Shockley in motion, moving left. Colner to pass once again. Pressure comes. Colner having to move left. Airs it out deep downfield. He has Williams wide open. And it's batted away, incomplete. Mark Zachary with the defensive stop, playing both sides of the ball tonight. He came out of nowhere to stop Nate Williams.
Yeah, it really looked like Nate Williams was going to have a really easy grab on that for his third touchdown, but great play there by Zachary to break it up. I don't even think Nate Williams thought he was going to break it up. I think Nate Williams was ready for that ball to be right in his arms and walking into the end zone, but great defensive recovery there by Ben Davis to bat that away. And that is huge for the defense and the offense, keeping that momentum more with the offense and going into this half with a lead, it seems like, as they're up by 3, 23-20, with 43 left in the clock as they work on their own 39.
Yeah, 43 to play in this first half. Ben Davis potentially trying to extend this lead. We'll see how conservatively they play out this first half. First play, a handoff to Elijah Price. He gets a few positive yards, and a flag comes on the field.
We saw some extracurricular activities there.
Some extra pushing and shoving from both sides.
It looks like that's number 2, Jabril Randolph, maybe, down there for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, Randolph pleading his case.
Definitely not needed for the Greyhounds. It was a run game. The clock was going to continue to run.
Yep.
That was going to work down the clock, but now the clock is stopped for Ben Davis and just continuing to give them better field position to set themselves up for a field goal, maybe potentially going into that half, extending their lead by not only 3 but 6.
Especially if you're a guy like Randolph, where you're not getting a whole lot of snaps defensively. There was a lot of expectations for him early on in the season, but he's kind of been playing second fiddle to Dylan Gold since then, and so not what you want if you're Jabril Randolph or this Carmel coaching staff. It'll be first and down for the Giants, 37.5 to play as the officials continue to talk to this Carmel sideline and get things all sorted out.
I'm not sure what's happening here on either side of the ball. There looks to be a little bit of confusion with both of the coaches. Ben Davis's coach being almost in the middle of the field. Now the refs are advancing the ball to what seems about the Carmel 40.
So a costly penalty now puts Ben Davis across midfield and inching closer to field goal range.
Yeah, I mean, the Ben Davis Giants here only need about 10, 15 yards, and they are in great field goal position, which puts a lot more pressure on the Carmel offense throughout the rest of the game, being up, extending that lead by 6, putting pressure on the field goal unit, as we've seen, has been a little bit of struggle on all areas of special teams. Honestly, not only for the Greyhounds, but Ben Davis as well.
First and 10, pass goes over towards the far sideline. It'll be short of a first down for Stapleton. Clock stops here with 33 seconds to play. Timeout called by Ben Davis. Once again, they are inching close to field goal range. We'll see how many more plays they go to before they send out Garcia Diaz for a potential extra 3 points.
Yeah, Ben Davis still has 2 timeouts remaining. How will they use those in their run game? We've seen really efficient. They still have 2 plays where they can get the ball even further down the field, call those timeouts, send out the field goal unit, attempt for a field goal. Obviously, we've seen both special teams. It's been a little shaky, so it's not a gimme, but the Greyhound defense needs to get some big stops here to keep Ben Davis away from that field goal position.
Yeah, we've seen already a missed extra point by Brian Garcia Diaz, so it might be a bit of a stretch to see how far he can extend his leg here as we approach the end of this first half. It feels like we've been saying that we're at the end of this first half for a while. Early on in this game, both teams moving very quickly, but since then, this game has slowed down tremendously.
Yeah, in the Carmel student section, let's talk about that. It's not even halftime
yet. It has fizzled.
And it looks like we're at a soccer game almost. This is really, really rare for the Greyhounds. This crowd is really
It's a cross-country meet out here.
Oh my goodness, yes. It is a cross-country meet. Not as much support as we've normally seen from the Greyhounds. I think a lot of the students here are going to be disappointed with the show out and the football team with a lot of energy coming from the crowd, making them want to grind out this game.
2nd and 4, handoff goes once again to Elijah Price. Trying to find a first down, he's going to be about a yard short. Clock continues to run. Timeout called finally by Ben Davis. 25.6 to play. Ben Davis still holding on to that 3-point lead, hoping to extend it before they get the ball to start that third quarter.
Yeah, Ben Davis here has one more play. Probably going to see another rush play, just get that first down. I think Ben Davis is in field goal range now, maybe a little bit far kick. We haven't seen much distance from their kicker yet. We've seen him make a short field goal from about 20, but this would be really testing his leg and seeing what he has. So the Greyhounds really need to get a stop, maybe a sack, maybe a stop on the running back to not let Ben Davis get any more field advantage, as it is already a pretty makeable kick for most of these kickers.
Yeah, and the worst case scenario, if you're this Carmel defense, is another dumb penalty. We've seen that pretty much all year, is that Carmel's defense has lacking the ability to get those clutch stops. And so we're sitting at a 3rd and 1 right now, and hopefully you get the stop, you bring up 4th down, you force a long kick, but the worst case scenario is that you give them a fresh set of downs in a very close chip shot attempt.
Yeah, we want to stay away from those penalties. We've already seen tonight a couple of unnecessary penalties that has given the field position here tonight already on this drive for the Greyhounds with Jabril Randolph's extracurricular penalty.
3rd and 1, Goss airing it out deep downfield, trying to find his man. Touchdown Giants. Horton hauls it in for his first touchdown of the game, and Ben Davis extends their lead going into halftime.
Yeah, that was a really aggressive play from Ben Davis, which just shows how comfortable they were on that 3rd and 1, going for the end zone. Really rare. A lot of teams would probably just take that 1-yard little run, get the first down, get into the field goal unit. But Ben Davis being aggressive, extending their lead to 9 before the extra point is put up to extend it into 10, making a 2-possession game now for the Greyhounds.
Yeah, 2-possession game and getting the ball to start the second half. Ben Davis is in the driver's seat. Javier Horton gets the touchdown reception, and it's all Giants as we close this first half.
You know, Noah, we were talking before the game that we think this Ben Davis team, even though being at 1-5, the record does not show their talent.
Well, I think that's true for both these teams, that both squads have a very strong roster on paper, but because of matchups and just because of small things throughout the year, the records are not displaying the merit of these two teams. But especially Ben Davis, the reigning champ sitting at 1-5, I think they are a much stronger team than a 1-win season, and we're already seeing that so far tonight.
And we've seen multiple of Carmel's losses being 1-possession games. Against Westfield, they lost by 4. The week prior to Rebuff, they lost by 1. I mean, that's really hard on the Greyhounds, as they could be sitting at 5-1 if they have that 1 possession, if they find that 1 possession score and get that lead to their favor instead of the other opposing team's favor. But tonight, the Greyhounds, going into this half, are going to need to find the answer for Ben Davis on the offensive half, as they've really hit a struggle here in the second quarter and have had no answers so far.
Yeah, for sure. And talking about those close games, the same can be said for Ben Davis. They had that Week 2 loss at Avon, only losing by 1 point. The week before last, they had a loss against Warren Central. That went all the way to overtime. Warren Central coming out with a 3-point victory. So yeah, for sure, this Ben Davis team is much stronger than their record shows.
Yeah, and we see another little squib kick here from Ben Davis. Carmel fumbled it around a little bit. I'm not sure what the strategy is with these kicks. Have they had previous opponents where they kick the ball like that and they fumble around with the ball, letting Ben Davis get possession back? But the Carmel Greyhounds have now seen that kick 3 times and have been able to recover it completely, and they just continue to get in okay field advantage to set them up. But only having 19 seconds left, the Greyhounds are going to need big 2-3 plays here to get down in
19 seconds, but still 2 timeouts for the Hounds. So this half is not over, and this offense has been explosive, as we've seen earlier in this game. Colner to pass for the first play of the drive. He finds Shockley trying to find his way out of bounds, and he will. Clock stops at 13.4 seconds.
Yeah, the Greyhounds want to see another score here at the half. They're going to have to look deep, especially on this play, if they want to set up for a field goal. Look for Nate Williams. Let him go deep. Let use his speed, or even just use Nate Williams as a decoy and let someone like Dom Shockley, Jake Dillon also find that ball as they are lined up next to each other.
Ideally, you would want to end up right around Ben Davis's 40-yard line after this play, given the timeouts and the time left. Colner to pass once again. Short pass up the middle to Shockley. Going to be just short of a first down, I believe. But another line grazing play that are going to give the first down to him. How many of those have we seen so far from Carmel tonight?
Yeah, a lot of those little slant up the middle, getting that first down. Little interesting here, though, that they don't go for depth, as the clock runs out for the half. Why not take a shot downfield, maybe hope for something that Nate Williams could go up and grab and get the Greyhounds on the board. But as Carmel walks off, I'm seeing a lot of heads down. This team looks really defeated. They need to find the energy, and the energy will not be coming from the student section. I can tell you that.
Oh, for sure.
As we can see even more people now leaving. And it's honestly, the first 2 rows are almost empty. This is extremely rare from the Greyhounds.
Yeah, and this is a very similar vibe that we saw at the homecoming game. When you had Burbuff come in here and embarrass you on your own home field. Carmel was 8-0 against the Braves going into that game, and Burbuff came out with a shocking win. And I'm seeing a lot of the similar postures that we saw in that homecoming game right now on this Carmel sideline.
Yeah, Carmel just looks really dejected. They don't really know what to do. They need to find an answer. They need to find ways to get stops. They need to find ways to get their offense back down on the field. We saw them working that in the first quarter, but can they continue to work that throughout the third and fourth quarter after what they did in the first quarter? Yet Ben Davis was able to find the answers for the offensive plays. So Carmel might need to change their offensive scheme a little bit to be more successful.
It's interesting because when you look at the stats, Carmel's sitting at 224 offensive yards total on the game. Ben Davis only at 165. And so when you look at those two stats, you shouldn't expect a 10-point favor in the other direction. And so Carmel's offense clearly isn't the issue, but the defense is just allowing too many scores.
Yeah, they do have a lot less yards, but we also did see the punt blocked for only like a 10-yard pickup for Ben Davis. So that gives them 7 there. And Carmel's put them in some good fielded positions too, which hasn't made their offense, Ben Davis, work a lot. They've had some easy field advantage, and the offense for Ben Davis has had an easy night, it seems like, against the Greyhound defense.
And 11 total rush yards from the Hounds is the opposite of what you expect from this deep running back core. Let's send it down to the field for the Carmel Marching Greyhounds. We'll see you back here for the second half.
One city, one school, one shared purpose. We are Carmel High School.
Nestled in the center of the Arts and Design District, Carmel High School students are introduced to incredible learning opportunities in and out of the classroom. With a multi-layered curriculum focusing on the whole student, we cater to each individual's educational needs. Our diverse student population can find their passion and realize their potential.
I am Carmel High School.
I am Carmel High School.
I am Carmel High School.
And with over 150 clubs, everyone can find their niche.
I am Carmel High School. I am Carmel High School.
I am Carmel High School.
Our award-winning marching band has over 4 BOA national championships, and with over 10 choirs you can find.
Next year at IU, I'll be studying social media marketing.
Next year, I'm studying human biology at Cornell.
Next year, I'm studying Law and Society at Purdue University.
I am Carmel High School.
Earning the name City of Champions. Carmel High School has a long-standing tradition of success, with more athletic state championships than any other school in the state of Indiana, and the longest winning streak in the nation. Carmel continues to develop exceptional athletes.
I'm on a full-ride scholarship to Boston University.
I am Carmel High School.
I am Carmel High School.
With over 47 languages spoken by our student body, we are as inclusive as we are diverse.
I am Carmel High School.
I am Carmel High School.
I am Carmel High School.
Carmel High School has many proud traditions, and we share a common purpose. Because at Carmel High School, you can explore opportunities, experience excellence, and realize your potential.
We are Carmel High School.
And together we achieve.
I started yearbook back in like 8th grade, and when I stopped playing volleyball freshman year, I guess it was very much my new thing is what I like to call it. I think it really just gave me something to do with my time, a new hobby. I mean, I made some of my best friends here. I don't know what I'd be doing without it, because it is that thing for me, and it really made the school smaller.
In a world cluttered with the same old stories, there's a beacon of creativity and innovation waiting to be discovered. CHTV isn't just a station, it's a journey into the hearts and minds of storytellers and dreamers. It's a canvas for the bold, the innovative, and the heartfelt. CHTV is where curiosity meets inspiration, where you're not just watching, but exploring, learning, and feeling. With the press of a button, we connect voices and visions, bringing them into the comfort of your home. Join us and let's discover something new together.
I mean, it's such a cliche, but I feel like within such a big school, it's really important to find your niche and to find your community. And Highlight has been, well, all of ours, but mine for sure.
There's really no other room like the Highlight room, right? It's like a workspace in the middle of school. Like the things we do in this classroom, you will not do anywhere else. The students organize everything. We go out, get content, we get it edited, we get it published on our own website. Like being able to do that as a high school student has been really impactful.
It's just so much, whether it's the social part or it's the professional environment. Either way, like this room has become a bit of a second home, or like my home base at Carmel. So I'd say it's kind of all-encompassing, which I know is pretty vague, but I think it fits.
One city, one school.
Report. Welcome back into the booth for the halftime report. I'm Andrew Hutine here alongside Eli Pinquet. It's been a rough half here for the Greyhounds, being down 20-30. Offense started out really hot. We saw them go down, put up 2 quick touchdowns from Nate Williams. The defense started to get some more stops there throughout the second quarter, but the offense for Carmel is going to need to find some answers. How are they going to do that tonight, Eli?
They're going to have to look again at Nate Williams. He had 96 receiving yards in the first half, and they were really spreading around the ball as a whole, with 6 different guys having receptions, including their running back Pemberton, who has not been doing very well today. Their entire offense only has 11 rushing yards, and he has 5. He's been a really big player for them. but hasn't been able to do much, and they've had to rely on the passing game. Corner has been doing pretty good, though, and he's 17 for 20. I get headset?
Yeah, Carol's like screaming. Keep talking.
Yeah, the Carmel Greyhounds have a lot of yards tonight, but they are not exploiting on the yardage that they have. They have over 240 yards in total on the offense, yet they are still not able to take this lead as they are down 10, 20 to 30 going into halftime against the Ben Davis Giants, who are sitting at 1-5, a historic low for their program, and Carmel being at 3-3, also an historic low era for the Carmel Greyhounds as they've been in this 500 range the past couple seasons.
Yeah, both teams have had special teams trouble, and it has been a high-scoring game, but Carmel has given up 14 points on special teams plays. There is the kick return touchdown by Ben Davis, and also a block punt that was returned about 10 yards by Ben Davis. There was also the missed PAT that was blocked, and so Carmel should be at 21, and Ben Davis shouldn't have the 30 points they have.
Yeah, Carmel's offense or special teams has been putting Lucas Krishnamurthy in tough positions throughout the game. They're making him look like he doesn't know what he's doing. That is not his fault. They should not be putting him in that position. Their offensive line on the special teams is not blocking well, which has a blocked punt and a blocked field goal attempt, both by Ben Davis, which one is allowing for a touchdown, and one put Ben Davis on a blocked field goal attempt, giving the ball right back for a kickoff. We've also seen some interesting kickoffs from the Greyhounds, putting them short, putting them long, and Ben Davis being able to return one of the kickoffs.
Yeah, they've been kicking it pretty well, and they had that one squib kick as well, and Ben Davis has just had some really good returns, as you were saying, with that touchdown. They've been getting it closer to the 40-yard range. Now, the Greyhounds have also had that. Ben Davis has not had very good kicks. They kicked one onside kick that they didn't get, and they've had a couple other short ones, and only one really got towards the 20-yard line. And the Greyhounds have had good field position and was able to score on their first drive because they started at the their own 40-yard line.
Yeah, the special teams tonight has been all over the place, and will continue to be an obstacle for the Greyhounds as they've had a special teams trick play error by Lucas Krishnamurthy, looking for the receiver out wide, trying to get up on a first down on a fourth down attempt in Ben Davis territory, which was really interesting. This second half is going to have to be a big step for the Greyhounds in their offensive look, finding ways to get down the field as they've been struggling in the second quarter, going back to maybe some of the things they're doing in the first quarter to help them succeed here in the second half against Ben Davis. That is it for our halftime report here tonight against Ben Davis Giants. The Carmel Greyhounds are looking to come out of the locker room with some energy and momentum, but Ben Davis will have the kick. So let's send it back to Andrew and Noah in the booth for the play-by-play in color.
Welcome back to the second half here on CHTV. I'm Noah Bedoris with Andrew Heatsing, and it's already a back-and-forth ballgame like we predicted. Ben Davis up by 10. The opening kickoff is a squib from this Carmel special teams. What are we seeing coming out of the second half, Andrew?
Yeah, the Carmel defense has been better throughout the second quarter than we saw in the first, but they're going to continue to step it up, set up the offense in better field position, and the offense is really going to need to turn it on this half, continue to find some more points on the board if they want to stay in this game.
Watkins gets his first touch of the game as a running back. So Ben Davis getting a little bit deeper into their bag. Elijah Price was kind of that first option we saw for most of the first half, but they're already digging deeper into their depth.
Yeah, and it looks like Ben Davis is leaving off right where they ended the second quarter, with just marching down the field already with only 30 seconds into this third quarter.
Caden Bowers getting the stop there, but not enough to keep Ben Davis from moving the chains. A fresh set of downs already, and they are moving quickly. Goss to pass for the first time in the second half. Flag is down. Finds an open man, but defensive stop made by Nate Williams. That'll bring up 2nd down and 10 pending this penalty.
Yeah, and the offensive, or the home side section here, sorry, for Carmel is very, very quiet, especially down here in the student section. Very, very little fans left here at Carmel Football Stadium. And the parents, too, seems to be a little bit lackluster from what we've normally seen, especially last week against, or 2 weeks ago, against Brebeuf for the homecoming game.
Yeah, it's been a disappointing season for this Carmel Greyhounds team, and fall break starting tonight is certainly not any help when it comes to filling in these stands. So this penalty will push Ben Davis back a little bit. Looks like it'll be first down and 15. Price back in at running back. First and 15, Goss to pass. Finds the open man, reaching out is Mark Zachary. He's got a gain of about 4.
Yeah,
or make that 9, actually.
Even though Ben Davis had a setback there of 5, they are right back to where they were just about before that penalty. And Ben Davis just has so much momentum for them right now on the offense. They're playing quick, they're playing fast. Even though there's so much time left in this game, it seems like this game is like coming to a close for them as they're moving this ball super quickly, as they're super confident in their offensive abilities right now.
Yeah, we got about 5-10 minutes into this game, and Carmel was already playing tired. And so they definitely seem like that they've sort of run out of gas in this game. That's going to be a big difference maker. Can they find some extra energy as the snap is bobbled by Ben Davis? Goss trying to recover a little bit, but he'll just go down. So 3rd down and long coming up, and that's the productivity you want to see out of the Carmel's defense. Even if it comes via some luck on a bad snap, this is potentially a game changer and a momentum shifter.
Yeah, the Greyhounds need to find a stop here on 3rd down, get the ball back. They need to go down, score a touchdown, get this game back to 1 possession to make themselves a lot more comfortable throughout the 3rd and 4th quarter.
Davion Davis in as a receiver. Haven't seen a whole lot of him so far this year for Ben Davis. 3rd down and 9. Play clock under 10. Goss takes a snap, hands it off to Price. Price makes a move, makes one man miss, breaks through a tackle and gets a 1st down. Elijah Price with a full head of steam gets the 1st down on the 3rd and long, and nothing can go the direction of Carmel's defense.
Yeah,
there's an injured player on the field to add insult to injury. We'll see who it is. Is that Jimmy Winbush? He's on the far sideline. Hard to see who it is at the moment. Sort of in a fetal position right now. Hopefully he can get up on his feet, but he is definitely in a lot of pain.
While he's down, let's talk about Elijah Price for Ben Davis having an outstanding game. Carmel Greyhounds have seen to not be able to find an answer to stop his run game, and they're going to need to find that because he's going to continue to run this ball down the field and tire out this Greyhounds defense, as he seems to have plenty of energy here in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah, Jimmy Winbush being helped off the field, but like you said, Carmel has had some issues with productive running backs so far this year. We saw 2 weeks ago at home against Brebeuf, C.J. Harris put on a show just like he did the week prior. When Trinity was in town, they have a very deep bag of running backs that were able to run a show on this Carmel defense. That's definitely been a struggle all year, is preventing the run game. And so far we're seeing Price put on another show tonight. 1st and 10 across midfield for the Giants. Snap low once again. They give it right back to Price. He's got some room to run. He's got blockers in front of him. 1st down for Price as he falls out of bounds after a gain of 11.
And how does Jimmy Winbush exiting game also affect the Greyhounds defense? We've already seen multiple injuries from the Greyhounds defense. John-Luc Gitchell has been out for multiple weeks. Ozzie Pollard went out 2 weeks ago against Brebeuf. Drew Cannon has had not many minutes here this week. He's still out, kind of questionable with a knee injury.
Yeah, that's been an issue all year, like we mentioned, is the injuries defensively. And so Jamie Winbush, being a impact player, definitely one of your leaders in tackles every year as the ball gets loose. Who's on top of it? Nothing but Carmel recovering the football.
That is a huge momentum shift here from the Greyhounds as we see them jumping up and down. This is kind of like the first sign of energy we've seen from them here in the second half so far. The crowd getting into it a little bit more. Carmel Greyhounds' heads are starting to be lifted up. Now the offense needs to go down, get a score to keep this momentum rolling even more now.
And just as we're talking about defensive replacements, Chase Jarrett picks up the bad snap. He's replaced the injured John-Luke Gedgel. He's been in there since week 3. And it's encouraging to see the young man get yet another fumble recovery. We saw him do the same thing against Trinity earlier this year. So 1st and 10 for Carmel, deep in their own territory, and just over 9 to play in this third quarter. Corner to pass. He finds a wide open man on the sideline.
Shoulders pass complete.
I think that's good for a first down. Josiah Gilmore with another reception. He's had some increased production. We saw him get a touchdown last week, but we're still not seeing a whole lot of Drew Pemberton despite the expectations that we have set for him.
Yeah, Drew Pemberton first week had a dominant performance here for the Greyhounds. Kind of slowed down. He's been off and on, but the last couple of weeks we've really seen him be off. We haven't not seen that true Drew Pemberton like averaging a touchdown a game. He's really slowed down in production.
Give it right back to him, and there's a gain of maybe 1 or 2, so this might be a spot we see Colner try to go to the air once again. That's been his bread and butter so far this year. He's been setting records, putting up over 300 yards consistently, night in and night out. He's sitting at 237 right now, so he should be able to surpass that milestone once again.
Yeah, and the Greyhounds using Josiah Gilmore more, they're more confident in him and his abilities. He must have been having a great week at practice, and they must have liked what they seen last week against North Central, getting more touches as they had a blowout win.
Colner's pass finds Bellin, short of the first down, but some productive yards, bringing up third down and short. You're approaching this kind of no man's land when you're down by 2 scores in the second half and you don't get this third down completion. This might be an area where we see Carmel go for on 4th down.
Gain of 7 on the play. 3rd and 2.
Yeah, this is a must-down conversion for the Greyhounds here on 3rd down. Little run play, little trick play, little motion.
And motion, and there comes the flag.
Great motion there by Dom Shockley to get the defense to jump on that, setting up a first down for the Greyhounds, giving them better field position and giving a fresh set of downs to further advance the ball and get into Ben Davis's territory.
So the story of the first half was kind of that Carmel was just playing some really unlucky football. Sure, there were some shortcomings, but for the most part, a blocked punt is hard to place blame on. Things like a bobbled snap is hard to place blame on, and we're seeing the exact same thing happen now for Ben Davis. We see a bad snap result in a fumble, and now some strangely timed penalty yards, giving Carmel a first down as the clock continues to run, approaching 7 minutes in the third. This could be the momentum switch that they're looking for. Colner to pass, gets rid of it quickly, finds Shockley, and a gain of just 3.
To 21, Dominic Shockley.
Going back to Dom Shockley, we've seen Colner have him as a favorite target the last couple of weeks. Getting a lot of action through the middle of the field and letting more players like Nate Williams and Jake Billin work the sideline, get them use their speed and athleticism to get up the field. And Dom Shockley has been really effective in that middle portion of the field.
And Shockley is a kid that we've seen really mature this year. He moved from defense to that wide receiver position going into this year, as Pemberton takes it across the first yard line for another movement of the chains for Carmel. But going back to Dom Shockley, he was moved into the receiver position going into week 1, and we saw a little bit of jitters. We saw some drop passes, but he's been able to really settle into this new role and be that rock for this Carmel receiving core, and really, like you said, a favorite target of Anthony Colner.
And that's a good play there by Drew Pemberton, getting that run. He needs that for his confidence. Maybe go back to him again a couple of times as he got the first down for the Greyhounds. Let him do what he does best in his best moments.
1st and 10 for Carmel. Pressure comes. Colner gets rid of it, finds Liam Mann for a gain of 5.
to 14, Liam.
I like them.
Excellent field awareness from Anthony Colner. Sees a blindside tackle coming towards him and is able to get rid of it quickly for a modest gain.
I like how the Greyhounds are continuing to find options down the field, continuing to advance the ball. That's really what they need. This third quarter has been going really, really quick. We're already down to 5.5 minutes. It feels like we just started this quarter, as this is the Greyhounds' only first possession of the quarter so far.
2nd down and 6, Colner to pass once again. Pressure comes, gets rid of it to Pemberton. Pemberton makes one man miss. He's at the 20-yard line, finally brought down after a big gain. Reddick gets the stop there, and he's lucky that he did with a shoestring tackle, because Pemberton might have been to the house. Injury on the field.
Injury timeout.
That looks like that shock.
That is a big, big bad news for the Greyhounds, as we do not want to see Shockley going down, as he's one of our top offensive weapons for the Greyhounds in the receiving core.
Yeah, he's slow to get up, but he doesn't seem to be in too much pain. This might just be a matter of stretching out a cramp. We saw the same thing happen to Anthony Colner a few weeks ago. Had that calf cramp falling out of bounds, but he was able to come back into the game. This may be more serious for Shockley, as he's being helped off the field with a little bit of a limp.
Another good touch and reception by Drew Pemberton. We saw him in the first half drop a similar pass. This time he was able to receive that pass, get some more yardage. He's had now 2 great plays on offense. Even though he's coming out, I think they should keep Pemberton in, as he's had these 2 great plays. Continue to let him do what he does. Continue to let him get down the field. Let him open up the running game and find open space in this Ben Davis defense and find their gaps.
1st and 10 now, ball handed off, but no yards there for the Hounds. 2nd down and long.
20, Josiah Gilmore, the ball carrier.
Gilmore gets the touch once again. We've seen a massive increase in his usage.
Yeah, I think the Greyhounds need to keep continuing to advance the ball, not settle for these short little runs. Yeah, you got to run the ball here and there, but continue to find options down the field. When they've found those quick, short passes, then they look for extra yards after the catch. That has been their true success.
2nd and 11, 2 options either side of Colner. He'll pass once again, looking towards the sideline, trying to find Carson Mays, but he can't hold on to it.
Yeah, another quick out route for the Greyhounds. We've seen that multiple times. Hasn't been really working for their yardage standpoint. I think we need to continue to look deeper down the field, find Nate Williams, find Liam Mann. They've tonight shown that they can go down the field, make catches, use their athleticism, use vertical, even though Nate Williams doesn't have the height vertical quite like Liam Mann does. He's still able to get up there and make plays on the ball.
Gavin Lamb had the stop there against Carson Mason. He's a guy that we've seen a lot of tonight for Ben Davis. Nearly had an interception earlier tonight. He's been able to get his hands all over the place for the Giants. 3rd down and 11. Colner to pass once again. Pressure comes, gets rid of it, trying to go to the end zone. Wide open, Liam Mann. And he drops it. Liam Mann drops a pass in the end zone, and Anthony Colner's hurt. Getting up quickly in a bit of rage is Anthony Colner.
It looks like that will be a late hit on Colner. You see the flag down on the field. Anthony Colner in rage. Coach Heber in rage too with the referees. Totally unnecessary. But that is a catch that Liam Mann has to make.
Wide open Liam Mann.
Almost in his breadbasket. In his hands, went through his hands. I didn't even see him drop the ball. That's how sure I was that he had that touchdown.
I wasn't even looking. I thought he was going to catch it, and then I see the referee signal incomplete as Colner is getting helped off the field. And this Carmel crowd is weak, but they're letting their boos be heard tonight as the late hit will bring Colner out of the game. We're going to see Treadway come in, get his first snaps of the game.
Yeah, a lot of people have been chanting, "We want Treadway" from the student section. I think a lot of that is jokes, but Treadway has some great future ahead of him. Being behind Anthony Colner is obviously a rough position. Treadway only being a sophomore, he will probably be starting position his senior year, but he still has to play behind Colner for one more year. But this is a great opportunity for him to show what he has, as Colner is currently on the bench and being tended to.
So they're going to spot the ball between the 11 and 10-yard line. So excellent field position for Jackson Treadway to start this drive. There was a lot of conversation going into this year on who was going to be that quarterback 2, filling in for a potentially injured Anthony Colner. And when they landed on Jackson Treadway, that was sort of, like we said, a toss-up decision. Is this the guy that we really want when we're in this dark situation of an injured quarterback? And so far, he's been producing.
Yeah, he has been producing. We've only seen him get in one other game, but he had some good numbers in that game. But Anthony Kohner is by far and large our QB1. But besides Treadway, the Carmel Greyhounds don't really have a third option if you look at it. I don't really know who they put in that third option. I could even see them like resorting to a Nate Williams of sorts in the quarterback position if they need to. Anthony Kohner standing up, back up on his feet a little bit here on the sideline.
Yeah, he's all on his own on the bench right now. So here comes the trainer to check out. Looks like they're going to take a look at Kohner's ankle. And he has had some issues really all year staying healthy. And that was, at one point, they discussed trying to keep Kohner from running with the ball and just prevent him from taking those hits. But some of these hits are unpreventable. And a lot of them, like we just saw, are late.
Yeah, that late hit was totally unnecessary by Ben Davis. But that takes out Kohner, which is huge for Ben Davis, putting pressure on Jackson Treadway, making him get comfortable in the QB position with Kohner being on the bench.
Treadway hands it off to Gilmore. Gilmore, not much room. Breaks past one tackle and gets more yards than he should have. Gain of about 4 on the play for Josiah Gilmore.
Now, Noah, do you think we're going to go to more run game now that Treadway's in? We haven't seen his arm a whole lot, putting a lot of trust in the sophomore quarterback this early on with not that much experience this season. It might be a risky thing. So I think we're going to see a lot more running from the Greyhounds and just getting the ball up the field in the run game rather than putting a lot of trust in Jackson Treadway's arm, especially being down by 10.
Yeah, there's still plenty of game left, and so you might want to go with a run-heavy offense for a while till Treadway gets comfortable, but he'll pass here. Treadway looking towards the end zone, nearly intercepted, and a flag comes in.
Pass is incomplete. There is a penalty marker.
Reddick in coverage there. He made the stop. He's had a busy night defensively.
And the DB was all over Liam Mann there, as we've seen literally all season. Liam Mann is such a big physical target to guard, being so tall, so lengthy. DBs are always wrapped around him because they know if they give him any room to make a catch, he will make the catch because of his wingspan and length and size. I mean, if you just throw up for the kid, the DBs don't really have a chance. That's why we've seen so many penalties called on opposing players trying to guard Liam Mann. Such a tough task for many DBs.
So Reddick gets called for the pass interference. It's going to be a fresh set of downs for Carmel, half the distance to the goal. Ball sitting right around the 4-yard line. And look who's back in the game, Anthony Kohner. He takes the snap, pocket collapses, gets rid of it, finds Jake Bellin. Bellin into the end zone for a Carmel touchdown. Jake Bellin makes a move, gets some positive yards, and the Hounds strike right back.
Yeah, it's really the momentum that the Greyhounds needed. The energy on the Greyhounds sideline seems to be in much better spirits than we saw them going into the tunnel at halftime. Energy way up. We actually see Jake Bellin now on the sideline go down after the touchdown. It looks like he might be having a similar calf cramp to what Anthony Kohner had a couple weeks ago against Trinity.
So Lucas Christian-Murphy in for the PAT. Snap is down. The point after is good. So Christian Murphy back in the positive. And Carmel down by just 3. 3:39 left to play in the third, and we still have a ball game.
Yeah, the Greyhounds took a really, really long drive there. That might have been the longest drive we've seen of the game. Early on in the first quarter, we saw scores coming right back after each other. Only 3.5 minutes here left in the third quarter. Ben Davis needs a response after that dominant drive by the Greyhounds. Even with the injury to Anthony Kohner on his ankle, he was still able to find that touchdown.
So here's the biggest test for Carmel's defense. They've struggled all night being able to stop the likes of Goss and Price and Stapleton from this Ben Davis offense. So it's going to be a test now when you're chipping away, you're only down by 3, you got to get a defensive stop.
Yeah, we saw a little bit of luck there from the Greyhounds last time, getting that forced fumble. Maybe they don't get that forced fumble. Ben Davis scores, and that momentum shift stays against the Greyhounds. But I think the Greyhounds now have all the momentum. If they get a defensive stop, go down and score, the Greyhounds have really put themselves in a good position to be coming up on top later in this third quarter or potentially fourth quarter.
Obermeyer set to send it away with 3:39 left to play in the third quarter. Carmel sideline revitalized after a effective offensive drive. We've seen this offense go quiet for quite some time, but they're back in this game. Line drive kick from Obermeyer, taking a nice bounce, ends up around the 15-yard line, brought out by Price. Elijah Price has had a busy night, both as a running back and as a kick returner. He brings it out right around his own 27-yard line, and that is where Joe Goss will start for the Giants.
Yeah, they've been using Elijah Price a lot early on in this game. I'm just wondering if he can sustain this through the entirety of the game. Maybe he's getting tired, which helps out the Greyhounds defense, being able to slow him down much easier, not letting him get those yards that he was early on in the game when he had a lot more energy. We've seen him being used a lot on the kickoffs and a lot of run plays, so he's got to be getting tired nearing the fourth quarter of this game.
1st and 10 for Ben Davis. Hand off to Elijah Price. Gain of 2 on the play. So like you said, Elijah Price might start to run out of gas here as we get deeper into this second half. Who's going to be that second option when Ben Davis needs somebody to step up? Is it going to be that running back 2 in Watkins? Is it going to be one of these receivers that we've seen show up throughout the night? Is it going to be Zachary? It could be Stapleton. But when Price runs out of steam tonight, you're going to need some other options. 2nd down and 8. Pitch goes to Elijah Price, of course. Price across the first down line and brought down at his own 45.
And there from Price, he is showing no signs of lack of energy there as he gets about a 15, 20-yard pickup for Ben Davis. He looks, the first couple plays there, he looked like he was starting to lose some energy, but that showed some great hope for Elijah Price and the Ben Davis team.
Nelson and Dickerson share a tackle there. 1st down and 10 for Ben Davis, and this offense does not show any signs of slowing down. Clock continues to tick, approaching 2.5. Goss to throw again. Finds Stapleton. Takes on 3 men at once and gains 4 yards.
Yeah, Stapleton being one of the other guys that we've seen a lot of movement from on the Ben Davis offense. Him and
seen a lot of Mark Zachary.
Yeah, Mark Zachary and Price have been the 3 people just really working it for the Ben Davis offense. But if those guys are continuing to get used so much here throughout the game, they're going to have to find other players to spread out the love if they're getting tired.
2nd and 6. Price gets it right back. He fights his way for a 1st down. So Price originally stuffed right around 2 or 3 yards short of the 1st down, but he fights his way through, muscles up a little bit, and moves the chains.
Yeah, Elijah Price honestly reminds me a lot of C.J. Harris from their buff. Just a dominant force running down the field, taking on contact, not being scared of that contact, and continuing to pick up yards and after being hit on the contact.
Both of those guys, running backs, the Carmel has had almost no answer for. 91 seconds to play here in the third. Ben Davis 1st and 10 across midfield. Goss looking to air it out. He goes deep. He's got a wide open Stapleton. Stapleton inside the 10-yard line. Brought down inside the 5. It'll be 1st and goal for the Giants. Isaac Nelson gets the tackle there, saving the touchdown. But the Giants are cooking here inside the red zone.
44 yards.
Yeah, that's a great response here from the Giants. Going right down the field, a big, big throw. Finding the receiver that was wide open was Stapleton. Great catch by him and able to now maybe get a score for the Giants or just short.
Yeah, Elijah Price gets the ball. They're going to say he's just short of the end zone, so that'll bring up 2nd down and goal.
If I'm Ben Davis here, I'm going right back to Price. Continue to run the ball through him. He's been the dominant force for the Giants. Just give him the ball. Let him see what he can do.
Whistles blow the play dead, but the snap is a doozy there. But thankfully for Ben Davis, they're gonna call a false start on Ben Davis. That'll pin him back further than they were. with the bobbled snap. So that'll bring up 2nd down and goal, but a further target for the Giants.
Yeah, that snap was really high and really to the right. I'm not sure what they were trying to do with that snap there. Really out of control, and we haven't really seen that really from the Ben Davis center this game yet. That would be Darion Sanders. Very unlike what we've seen from him tonight.
Less than a minute left in the 3rd. Ben Davis threatening once again. Goss to pass. Looking for the end zone. He's got a wide open man.
Touchdown.
Another touchdown for Ben Davis. They strike right back. Kayshawn Stone with the reception, and Ben Davis climbing back to a 2-possession lead.
Goss's pass to 15.
Yeah, really big possession there for the Giants as they're to bring back the momentum that the Greyhounds had. Greyhounds now, it's been on and off, looking really dejected, looking like they have all the momentum. The Greyhounds defense is going to need to step up and get some stops here and give their offense ability to tie this game up or make this game a lot closer and keep it within a 1-possession game and not a 2-possession game.
Yeah, that's going to be the deciding factor. Is we know Carmel's offense is capable of putting points on the board, especially against this Giant defense. But it's going to be a tall task for the Carmel defense to step up and just get one stop. That's all we need. We need one stop to keep this game in reach, but it's going to remain a 10-point game approaching the end of this 3rd quarter.
Yeah, the Greyhounds are going to need to find a lot of answers on the offensive half. They're going to need to go down, get a touchdown here, get a stop, and another touchdown if they want to end this game on top. It's going to be a tough task for the Greyhounds, but they're going to have to rise to this challenge, and I think they have the depth and the talent to do it. It's just a matter of not will they be able to do it.
Well, another issue is you're facing some injuries. Yes, these guys are staying in, but you're seeing Colner get hit hard. You're seeing Shockley get taken out of the game. And so this offense is sort of just taking a beating out here. They are not able to carry this team on their back in ways that they've been trying to. And so the sort of feebleness of these offensive players could prove to be a weakness because they cannot play a full game.
Yeah, we've seen Colner go down with its ankle injury. That's going to really affect the Greyhounds. Dom Shockley, one of the top targets, going down too. We think that was just a cramp of sorts. He should be back in this offensive lineup for the Greyhounds. But these injuries, if they keep on adding up, in the end, it will really have a big impact on the Greyhounds in their offensive ability to go down and score in their normal offensive scheme.
Shockley stays on the bench. He'll jog towards the locker room, and so Nate Williams will take over his role in returning kicks. Williams and Pemberton. Williams takes out this one. Backtracking there, he finds a seam. Williams across the 40-yard line. Makes another man miss. Approaching midfield is Nate Williams, and what a kick return by the young man.
Just when we thought he could only play offense and defense, you put him on the special teams, he does the same thing. He dominates. He dominates in every category that he touches, whether that's wide receiver, DB, special teams. We see him here now taking a knee. That's a big concern. Another potential injury for the Greyhounds as he's slow to get up.
Yeah, we'll see the status of Nate Williams, but it's looking like this Carmel offense is almost running out of players. If you're going to have some injuries to Colner, to Shockley, and now to Nate Williams, who's going to be the next guy to step up?
Yeah, they're going to need to see a big step up from Liam Mann, Jake Bellin, really using those other two targets.
Griffin Woodward in the game now as a receiver. And we've seen Carson Mace kind of step up as a backup receiver, playing a lot of extra snaps tonight, so he has definitely been filling in the role nicely. 20 seconds left to play in the 3rd. Colner to pass once again. Plenty of time. Pressure comes. He's hit late. Finds Jake Bellin down the field. Bellin holds on to it inside the 20.
That was an amazing pass under pressure from Anthony Colner. Colner, a little bit limpy in his jog up the field. We can now see him walking. Still a little bit of a limp there. That is not a good sign from the Greyhounds. He does seem to be moving, but we're going to have to really rely on his arm in the rush game and keeping him not having the defense allow it to collapse on him, especially with his injury, not being able to scramble super easily.
Well, Andrew, I'm no doctor, but I'm pretty sure you don't need an ankle to throw the ball. So Colner stays in the game as the third quarter expires, and a massive play to Jake Bellin puts the Hounds in business once again, trying to chip away at this 10-point lead. But it's going to be the defense's job to keep Carmel in this game.
Yeah, that was a great route by Jake Bellin. We were just talking how they're going to need players to step up, and him being one of them if Dom Shockley is limited, and Colner is also limited in his run game.
And Williams is also potentially not coming back.
We see that Nate Williams has had a knee brace on the past couple of weeks. I wonder how that has affected this injury here tonight. It looked like it is his right knee that is bothering him. He's been stretching that out over here on the sideline a good deal.
Yeah, and this issue really extends past this game because obviously you're fighting for the win here, but you got to go on the road against an undefeated Warren Central team next week, and so that's going to be the tallest task of the year, maybe besides the Trinity game. But even Trinity was at home. You're going into a hostile environment next week. You need a healthy roster.
Yeah, if the Greyhounds do not win this game, it's going to be a really tough task. That means they could be sitting at 3-5, which would just absolutely blow their odds of having a 500 season, making them go under 500
They're going to need some playoff wins in that case.
Yeah, they're going to need some sectional wins. They're going to need a big sectional win if that is the case. We have not seen them under 500 like we've said multiple times since 1997. Just shows the dominance of this football team the past 20, 25 years, but now it's just absolutely dropping.
Colner to pass now through the hands of Griffin Woodward. We're talking about Warren Central. They're coming into this week 6-0, but they are suffering a 26-7 loss at the moment at the hands of Lawrence North. So potentially the Hounds could be walking into a more favorable situation than they thought going into this week. 2nd down and 10 in the red zone. Colner staying in the game despite injury. He'll pass once again behind his target of Liam Mann, and just some miscommunication on the route there.
Yeah, very unlike Anthony Colner there, putting it way behind Liam Mann. Liam Mann wanted that obviously way out in front of him, leaving it way behind. Yeah, Liam Mann has that wingspan to go back and make that catch, but you got to lead out your receiver much better than Anthony Colner did there.
So 3rd down and 10, and sort of a crucial down here. If you don't get it, you got to kick the field goal, keep this game make this game a 1-possession lead. But the way that this defense is playing, it's not shaping up great for Carmel. Colner to pass, snap is low, looking towards the end zone, nobody's there.
Yeah, two very unlike Anthony Colner passes here the last two plays. How does Anthony Colner's injury kind of affect his mindset going into the game? Is he really more thinking about the injury than the game ahead of itself and looking at open receivers? Is he just too in his mind about his injury and how that affects his play?
I wouldn't say that he's thinking about the injury, but you know that you're weak. And so your goal is to get rid of the ball as quickly as possible so that you're not going to face the possibility of taking another hard hit. And so Colner, I don't think, is focused on his ankle, but he's concerned about getting rid of the ball and staying off of that injured ankle. Kick from Lucas Christian Murphy is good, and so this game is chipped down to just one score. 37-30. Giants lead, 11:45 left to play in the 4th. Hounds just trying to chip away and hold on to this game at home.
Yeah, we're going to need a big defensive stop here from the Greyhounds, and then another big offensive drive, which I think is going to be a struggle. We saw the Greyhounds barely get down the field for that field goal. The Greyhounds' offense looks super weak compared to it did the first 10 minutes of the first quarter. Absolutely dominance then. Yet, since that time, it seemed like they only prepared for that first quarter. If they play like that first quarter, the entirety of this game would not even be as close as it is right now. This game would be Carmel up by 30 if they would be able to play like they did the first 2 possessions.
The student section of about 70 students still in attendance here tonight, hoping for a great Carmel finish. Most of these fans staying are seniors. And what's that importance as a fan knowing that it's your senior year, getting to watch some of these games for the last time, why stay, Andrew?
I mean, I think it's important to stay, just to show this football team that you support them through the highs and lows. Being a seniors, it's got to be tough watching this season as your last season. It's got to be really disappointing. You always want to see a good, solid finish from your football team your senior year. So this is very devastating for a lot of the Greyhound fans and very unlike the Carmel tradition of dominance in the sport of football.
Well,
we've just seen an absolute decline over the last couple of years.
Yeah, especially with this senior class. They really have not gotten to experience a good year of Carmel football in all 4 years of their high school career. And so these games are really more sentimental than anything. It's less about the team itself and more about the experience of showing up to the game. So it's good to see some fans sticking around despite the performance of these 3-3 Carmel Greyhounds. Kick is another squib by Obermeyer. Taken out once again by Elijah Price. He's got some room to run. He's got a seam. One man to beat. And Elijah Price waltzing into the end zone for a quick Ben Davis answer.
Yeah, I mean, Elijah Price absolutely dominant tonight, to say the least. Third touchdown of the night, second touchdown on kick returns. Absolute dominance, just finding the outside. No Carmel player even seemed really close to him at that point.
Yeah,
he was getting close to the end zone.
Once he reached about his own 40-yard line, he was gone. The last man to beat was Matthew Obermeyer, and that was not a fair fight at all. And so Elijah Price into the end zone virtually untouched. So we don't even get to see Carmel's defense attempt to make an answer. Extra point is good.
Ben Davis, 44.
Ben Davis leading by 2 touchdowns now with 11:32 left to play, and it's starting to get into an emergency situation for Carmel.
Yeah, and the Carmel Greyhounds offense has been super weak. A little bit of injuries from every position there for the offense. That's going to be really, really brutal on the offense. An injured Anthony Colner. How is he going to be able to get this drive going to put the Greyhounds down into scoring position, down 14 with 11:32 in the fourth? This is just an absolute stunner here for the Carmel fans, being down 2 possessions. Definitely not what many fans probably predicted this game to be. Seeing the 1-5 record for Ben Davis, many thought this might be a cakewalk, but it's been nothing short of that.
Yeah, and this game has been pretty close for the most part. Right now, we're looking at a 2-touchdown lead, which is the biggest lead of the game for either team. And so we were talking earlier about how Carmel plays a lot of close games, and if they can continue to chip away, this might fall into the category that we've seen all year of 1-possession losses for the Hounds, which are definitely skewing the appearance of this record.
And the Greyhounds after this game could also drop back under that 500 mark, which has been super, super rare for them throughout the history of this program. We saw them last week be under 500, but then raise that back up to 500 after the win against North Central.
Ben Davis with a busy sideline. Kickoff is bobbled by the Hounds. Who picked it up? Looks like it's going to be Greyhound ball, but a scary situation. Hounds flirting with a 3-touchdown deficit. But it will be first down for the Hounds around their own 30.
We've seen Ben Davis do that little short kick throughout the game, and that's exactly what they were trying to do the entirety of the game. Make Carmel make a play on the ball, bouncing around. That's not an easy ball to grab. The football can go so many different directions, and you really have to be ready for any slight bounce that could go either which way.
So 1st and 10 on the 32. Colner on one good ankle. He'll pass. Colner looking right on the move once again. And he gets rid of it and is hit late. Carmel sideline looking for a flag, but they won't get one. Anthony Colner taking some beatings tonight from this Ben Davis defensive line.
Yeah, Kohner was definitely waiting there for a flag. It looked like he got the ball off and was out of bounds and then received some extra contact, which is really scary for the Carmel offense here because he's already been down once, so they want to keep him as safe as possible. So the O-line has a big task right now, keeping Anthony Kohner safe from the defensive line of Ben Davis.
Nate Williams back in the game, but still no Dom Shockley. Second down and 10. Kohner looking. Ball bounces in pursuit of Carson Mace, but it's an incomplete pass, bringing up third down and long. So potential 3 and out coming up for Carmel. Not the offensive answer you want to see.
Especially with the Ben Davis offense being such on a roll right now. They could come back, put another touchdown in the face of Carmel, going down 3 possessions, would kind of seal this game for Ben Davis and lose all hope just about for the Carmel Greyhounds to have even a chance at this game. So this is a must conversion on third down here for the Greyhounds.
Third down and 10. Kohner surpassing 300 pass yards once again. Pass from Kohner is tipped at the line of scrimmage. Once again, that's Lamb. He's had a busy night defensively for Ben Davis.
Talking about busy night, Lucas Christian-Morthy has had a busy night tonight for the Greyhounds. He's been used for punts multiple times. The Greyhounds have put him in a lot of rough positions this week, and I feel bad for him because it's not a lot of his fault. Nothing he has done tonight has affected his standing, but the Carmel O-line needs to put him in better positions to succeed.
4th and 10, Lucas Christian-Morthy will send it away for Carmel. Snap is high, Lucas holds on to it. Christian-Morthy sends it away, fair catch called around his own 35-yard line. And that is where Ben Davis will take over.
The Carmel defense must find an answer here on this drive. They cannot allow Ben Davis to go down a score, or else this game might just be put away, and the Greyhounds will have no answer and no way to come back from this deficit.
Yeah, this drive is likely going to be what defines the rest of this game. If Carmel can get a defensive stop and find a way to get into the end zone offensively, they're going to stay in this game. But if Ben Davis can march down the field and tack on another touchdown, you're putting this game very out of reach for this Hound squad. First and 10 Giants, receivers in motion. Handoff once again. That's Watkins. Limited touches for him so far in the game, but he gets a productive carry there with a gain of about 8.
Tackled by 10.
You got to really thank the Carmel fans who are staying here throughout this game. We haven't seen a Carmel win at home since, what, week 1 against Homestead?
That's true.
This schedule for the Greyhounds has been really tough at home, finding those wins. These fans have really stuck through a lot of these losses, potentially 3 losses now at home for the Greyhounds.
Goes the pass once again. He airs it out deep downfield. Pass is incomplete. Looking for a pass interference call as the Ben Davis sideline. They're not going to get it. Pass intended for Mark Zachary. And Joe Goss also hit as he let go of it. 3rd down and 3 now for the Giants.
Greyhound fans, that brings up 3rd down.
This 3rd down play right here could be a huge deciding factor in this game. If they were able to get this, go down and score, seal the game away, this 3rd down is a must stop for the Greyhounds if they want to have a chance to stay alive in this game.
Juwan Watkins stays in the game at running back for the Giants. Kayshawn Stone now in as a wide receiver. He had a touchdown earlier in the game, but besides that, have not seen a reception from him. Timeout called by Ben Davis before this crucial 3rd down.
We know the Greyhounds leave it all out on the field for every game. Well, there's no better place to refuel after the game than with some hand batter.
Just raising the momentum or suspense here, sorry, for the Greyhounds. Just kind of drawing out this third down conversion, raising many questions, raising what scheme do we want to run on this defense, on this Ben Davis offense that has been so effective throughout this game.
09, that's your lane. 1-1.
So a long time out. Hounds coming out of it. Defense has been unable to get stops for the most part tonight. But a big opportunity for this defense to show what they're made out of.
Insurance Group for all of your insurance needs. Lure Insurance Group is your local Erie insurance agency with a winning team ready to help.
Third and 3. Ben Davis looking for another first down. 3 receivers to his right, nothing on his left. Handoff goes once again to Price. Short of the first down is Elijah Price. And we'll see if Ben Davis keeps the offense on the field with this 4th down and short. They're going to spot it 4th down and 1. And with the way that Elijah Price has been playing so far tonight, you might as well just give it right back to him.
That's exactly what I was thinking, Noah. He's been so dominant. He's been able to get those yards. 1 yard seems like a cakewalk for him at this point. Just getting 1 yard, getting this first down. Just under 10 minutes left here in the 4th quarter. Big 4th down conversion here for the Greyhounds. They need to get a stop.
4th 1, flea flicker from Price to Goss. Goss airs it out deep downfield, trying to find Mark Zachary. Pass is incomplete, but the flag comes in. That's going to be pass interference.
Yeah, there's not really anything they could do there, Carmel. I think if he didn't have pass interference there, that ball would have been caught, which would have given him the same field advantage. But I'd rather him try to go up and make that catch, because that's not an easy catch to make. So make him make the catch. And if he makes the catch, you say, you know what, good catch. Stay away from the penalties. We've seen Carmel been hurt by so many penalties throughout the last couple of weeks, and that is just adding to the list right there.
Well, and part of the pass interference, obviously, you can control it. But when a ball is underthrown like that, it's a little bit hard to just pump the brakes and let the receiver make the play without running into him. But a costly pass interference penalty.
First down for the Giants.
1st and 10 now for Ben Davis. Giants moving all receivers to the left side. Ball's handed off once again to Price. He's got a gain of about 8.
That's just such an efficient job by Elijah Price, finding that little gap through the Greyhounds defense. That's just really impressive stuff. Not many high school running backs have that ability to find that gap and pick up the extra yardage after getting through the defensive line, especially a top defensive line in Carmel.
So Ben Davis chipping away at this clock and really moving the ball as they please. They're going to have a big opportunity here to really eat at the clock and not give Carmel too much time to come back. Goss in movement, trying to find the sideline, and he will after a gain of little to nothing.
Great Joe Goss, the ball carrier.
Now, if you're Ben Davis, I would start looking at the clock. 9 minutes left here in the 4th. Maybe slow it down a little bit. Work these possessions a little bit longer. Make the Carmel defense stay out on the field. Don't let Carmel offense get the ball. Continue to just run your offense. Run your offense.
Yeah, it's 3rd down and short here. You would assume that they're going to give the ball right back to Elijah Price. The way he's been playing and the way that that's going to continue to keep the clock ticking, that's the best case scenario for this Giants team. 3rd and 3, Elijah Price with it. He has the first down and a lot more. Elijah Price storming downfield, breaking tackles. Cannon can't bring him down. Adams can't bring him down. Elijah Price inside the 10-yard line. How many guys had to miss before Elijah Price finally went down?
I mean, it looked like the entirety of the Carmel defense was surrounding him, and he was still moving. He looked like Saquon Barkley just running through. I was going to say beast mode. Yeah, just running through the entirety of the defense, picking up like 15 extra yards with about 3 to 4 guys at him at one point. And then we even saw maybe 5 or 6 extra guys surround him to finally bring him down around the 3-yard line.
So 1st and goal now for Ben Davis, sitting around the 3-yard line. And you got to think, who else is going to touch the ball but Elijah Price? Carmel's defense has had no answer for him so far tonight. 1st and goal on the 2. Goss tries to take it himself, reaching out across the goal line, and he's in for another Ben Davis touchdown. Joe Goss gets his first rushing touchdown of the evening, and Ben Davis has a 50-burger on the road.
Yeah, that's got to be really, really defeating for the Greyhounds. I mean, I don't see a way that the Greyhounds are coming back from this game with this explosive Ben Davis offense. I'm just still scratching my head how they are at 1-5 on the record. This offense has been super explosive in the run game, especially from Elijah Price. Just an absolute dominant force. We saw a similar thing with CJ Harris against Rebuff. And Carmel just doesn't have many answers for really good running backs. And they don't know how to stop that really good running back run game.
Extra point is perfect from the Braves as this place continues to weaken in attendance. 8.5 left to play in the 4th quarter.
Carmel only having one more home game after this. The fans have not really seen much of a dominant win here at home, only coming in week 1 against Homestead. We've been shut out now at home the past 3 home games. Trinity, we saw a loss. We saw Rebuff, close loss. Expected to win that game during our homecoming.
Right.
And now a potential 3rd loss straight at home.
And the strangest thing about that is that Homestead is not a bad team. And they came in here week 1. Carmel took care of business, won by 24 points. And since then, they have not been able to muster up a win of that caliber.
Yeah, and that game was really promising for the Greyhounds. I really thought the success of the season was going upward, but now we've really seen a plateau and now a start to decrease after this game.
Right, and especially we have mentioned the schedule. Warren Central next week is going to be a rough one for Carmel, assuming they're going into it 1 game under. It's potentially lining up to be the first losing season in decades for Carmel. Like we've mentioned, last time Carmel finished the year with more losses than wins, 1997. And it seems more than likely that's going to be the fate of this year.
Pemberton with the kick return there brings the Carmel Greyhounds about to 35. Yeah, I don't know if that kick return is going to be enough here to set this offense up. And I don't see how the offense is going to go down and even get close to Ben Davis, especially if Ben Davis gets the ball back. They're just going to march right back down and score again like they've been doing all night.
Yeah, I'd hope to see that if Carmel can't score on this drive, this is the last Anthony Colner drive of the night. He's been hurt all night as more pressure comes. Colner is sacked once again by Ben Davis. That's number 27 on the play for the Giants. Gavin Lamb, he's been the battery of this this Ben Davis defense all night. And,
yeah.
But like I was saying, we don't want to see Anthony Colner take any more hits. And so if Carmel can't get off the field with a touchdown here, you want to see Jackson Treadway come in. Keep Colner healthy. Keep him off the field.
Treadway is right there on the sideline. Looks like he's about ready to go in. I'd almost put him in right at this point, especially after that sack. Colner just continues to be under pressure. We don't want him getting any further injuries as he's being collapsed again here in the pocket.
Yeah, 2nd and long. Pocket collapses again. Colner gets rid of it. Hit as he throws. And 2 flags finally come in on the late hit.
Anthony Colner just taking an absolute brutal beating tonight. He's been down at least 3 times now. Another late hit from the Ben Davis defense. They've been really dirty on Anthony Colner here on the Greyhound sideline.
Yeah.
Taking a lot of hits. That's a bold move considering you're on the Greyhound sideline.
Right.
Everyone being there.
Somebody's going to take that personally.
Yeah, someone's going to take that
if
personally.
If you're Antonio McGee who just made that play and you're only 5'6", you better get out of there pretty quickly.
Yeah, you better hope they don't know who you are after the game because Carmel will come after their quarterback, their starting quarterback the entirety of the season. But now we see Jackson Treadway enter the game for the 2nd time here for the Greyhounds. Let's see what he can piece together here on a 1st and 10 after the flag.
A personal foul against Ben Davis.
Yeah, so
Also an unsportsmanlike conduct.
you can assume that Colner's night is done playing in this 21-point hole right now. We'll see what Jackson Treadway is made out of. He's going to get some favorable field position to start his drive. Clock under 8 minutes, and this game all but over for the Hounds.
2 penalties on that previous play, unsportsmanlike conduct, and unnecessary roughness, which has just marched the Carmel Greyhounds down to the Ben Davis 45-yard line.
So at what point do you think that Carmel will start to attempt an onside kick if they can find a way to score on this drive? It is 8 minutes too early to take some risks.
I mean, you're down 3 possessions. You kind of have to. But then if you don't get the onside kick recovery, you just give Ben Davis beautiful field advantage, and they will just march down and score like we've seen them do multiple times. So it's almost just better to put them back further and make them work their way up and make them earn the touchdown.
Treadway's first play of the drive is blown dead. We'll see what the decision is here. They're going to call a penalty on Carmel's offensive line. Marco Kate getting a little jumpy there.
First and 15.
So first and 15 now for the Hounds.
Ball at the 50-yard line.
Ball spotted right at midfield.
The third quarter here for the Greyhounds seemed to move pretty fast. This fourth quarter, although, has been a lot slower. It seems like by now the third quarter would have been over. A lot slower in the fourth, even though this is a blowout game. Can the Greyhounds find an answer and a hope?
Looked like Valeri jumped a little bit too early, but they didn't call him out for it. Pass from Treadway is complete to Andrew Pemberton. Gain of about 6 yards on the play.
If the Greyhounds want a chance at this game, they're going to need to find a lot more options than just getting these short little 5-6 yards. They're going to have to look deep. They're going to have to put some trust in Jackson Treadway's arm, show the Carmel fans what he's made out of and what potential he could have his senior season, assuming that Colner will come back next year for his senior season.
Well, as this clock continues to run, you're going to start to run out of time. You might want to test out Jackson Treadway's arm, like you said, see how much he can air it out. He still has some targets left in this game, specifically Nate Williams, who already has 2 touchdowns on the day. Treadway to pass, looking deep for Nate Williams, but he overthrows him.
Treadway's pass incomplete.
So third and long coming up.
Nate Williams brings up
And Treadway's first real test of the night. And Anthony Colner is going to come back in.
I'm not sure what the Carmel Greyhounds are really doing there, putting Colner in. We've already seen him get extracurricular hits multiple times from Ben Davis, and I don't see why they would just keep on going at him. They don't really have much to lose. Yeah, it's not good sportsmanship, but I mean, if they give up field position at this point, it doesn't really matter. It's still a 3-possession game. So the field position for the Greyhounds doesn't really matter that much for Ben Davis.
Antonio McGee's still in at linebacker for the Giants. He's the one that knocked Colner out last time. Colner gets rid of it quickly. Finds his man near the sideline, but well short of the first down. Bellin unable to muster up any first down yards. So it'll be 4th down and about 5. And you can assume that Carmel's offense will stay on the field as they've reached desperation here. Clock ticking, 6:22 left to play.
Ball on the 41-yard line. 4th down.
Last hope for the Hounds. Colner takes the snap, he'll pass, pocket collapsing, gets rid of it, and nobody's home. So 4th and 6 stop by the Giants, and they'll take over after the turnover on downs. And this game has everything except the final whistle.
Yeah, this game seems to be in the wraps. Now Ben Davis just going to have to run out the clock here, wrap this game up. Really, really sad performance here from the Greyhounds. Definitely not what they were expecting this week going into the game. Many had high hopes that this could be a winnable game, but Ben Davis has really showed dominance. and proving that their record does not define them as a team.
Yeah, and both these teams still have very incredible rosters, like we've mentioned. The talent is definitely there, and in the system that is IHSA football playoffs, both these teams still have hope. And so we're going to reach the end of this season, and both teams are going to take kind of, that introspective look at themselves coming into sectionals. And I think both teams still have a genuine shot, but it's definitely not the position that either one wants to be in. 2nd down and 3. Ben Davis keeping their starters in. Play clock approaching 10 seconds. Ben Davis taking as much time as they'd like.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly what I would do if I'm Ben Davis. Just run this clock down to as little as you can get it.
Watkins gets the carry. Nothing there for him. Juwan Watkins, limited usage tonight, but he's starting to get these garbage minutes as Ben Davis has a lot of confidence in the result of this game.
Carmel obviously having a lot of injuries. Noah, how do you think that if the Greyhounds had their full healthy roster, do you think this game is a different outcome, having Ozzie, John-Luc Gatchell, and other star performers like Adel Navarrete and the D-line as well out as an injury? How does that affect the Carmel Greyhounds?
I think that looking at the roster, this team is missing some pieces. But when you watch this game, so many of the things that killed the Hounds tonight were the little things. They were the bobbles on the punts. They were the bad snaps. They were the dumb penalties. And so could the result have been different if you had a guy like Ozzie playing tonight? Sure. But 21 points don't go away just because you have one guy.
It is a Ben Davis first down.
Ben Davis gets the first down after an excellent play by Mark Zachary. What a game he's had.
Yeah, for sure. He's been tremendous for the wide receiver core, for Ben Davis, finding those yardage. Speaking of yardage, Ben Davis has now surpassed Carmel in yardage for, I think, the first time this game, having 358 of total offensive yards. Carmel now down to 327. So Ben Davis is beating Carmel in all areas of this game now.
Juwan Watkins gets the ball once again. Healthy carry of about 9 yards for the young man.
And Joalden Watkins coming in looking super fresh. I think that Ben Davis could have been using him earlier in the game based on the couple runs he's had in this drive so far.
We'll take a look at who just made the stop. That's Jimmy Winbush Jr. We saw him get hurt earlier in this game, and it's nice to see him getting another tackle. That's what he does best.
Yeah, really good to have Jimmy Winbush back on the field, showing that he's healthy and that he will not be a long-term injury and that he's able to continue to play because he's a big defensive role player for the Greyhounds and they need him out there.
Clock just over 3 minutes left in this game. Ball goes to Malik Williams, who also has had limited carries today. He's listed as a wide receiver, but he has had some touches on the ground tonight in relief for Elijah Price.
Yeah, the Carmel Greyhounds, they're going to need to find a lot of answers for next week at Warren Central. This showing was not what they were wanting to show. Warren Central, they have not struck much fear. Watching this tape, I don't think Warren Central is going to be a whole too nervous about this score of this game. And Carmel is going to have to do a lot of preparation for next week's game being away. But we have seen Carmel be more dominant in those away games. So maybe they prefer those away games and coming into the opponent's home.
Juwan Watkins carrying once again. He takes the ball inside the 5. It'll be 2nd down and goal sitting at the 5-yard line. Aaron Fedorcha gets the stop there for the Hounds. Another guy that has definitely made some steps of improvement on the year, trying to take over in relief of this injured defensive unit.
Now under 2 minutes on the clock. Ben Davis just continuing to run their snap clock down as little as they can get it to just really run this game out and not give Carmel any more time on offense.
2nd and goal, snap. carry once again, and into the end zone go the Giants. Malik Williams gets the touchdown there, his first of the day. Warren Central has officially lost to Lawrence North, so the battle of the two 6-0 teams goes in favor of the Wildcats, 33-7. So Warren Central going to be coming into next week very battle-tested, but still definitely the better team. Ben Davis set to extend this lead to 4 touchdowns. 24-point game. 28-point game, excuse me.
And we've just seen a pure dominant performance from Ben Davis this second half. If they play like this second half like they've been playing, I don't see what team is stopping Ben Davis, especially in the run game from Elijah Price. I don't know what defense is going to be able to stop that run game. He's been absolutely dominant for Ben Davis in the rush game, and Carmel has just not found answers in the run game either for Price or Jawan Watkins. He came out first drive of the game, dominance the whole way down the field, just leaving the Carmel Greyhounds with 1:37 left in the fourth, and they'll probably just knee the ball out and call it a night.
Yeah, Carmel's defense has been the weakest performer of the night between either team. Disappointing showing by the entire defense.
A reminder that all student pickup is at the natatorium lot, south of the stadium.
Carmel set to receive this kick. 1:37 left to play. You would hope that Jackson Treadway takes the final snaps for the Hounds. It'll be interesting to see what kind of offensive scheme you get going for him. You'd like to see with the backup quarterback to actually take these drives seriously, get the young man some practice as Anthony Colner's night is done. Frank Bertram gets the Ben Davis sideline pumped up as he's done all night before the kickoff. Flags come in on the kick, so they'll pin it back a little bit and just do it again. Penalty is on the Giants.
Noah, have you ever seen this small of a student section?
This is the emptiest I've ever seen Carmel Stadium.
I didn't even know it was possible to have this few Carmel students.
I've seen trike races with fuller stands.
Oh, for sure, yes. The trike race definitely brought out a lot more fans than
I've seen track meets with fuller stands. I've seen Powder Puff with fuller stands.
If you're Carmel, do you just get the ball, take a knee, call it a game?
I hope not. I would like to see Jackson Treadway take some serious snaps and see if he can get some practice, because Anthony Colner has played excellently all season, but he's been fragile. And so if and when he faces another injury, I want Jackson Treadway to be battle-tested and be ready to come into a game as needed. Bellin takes the kickoff and gets a healthy return, bringing the ball out towards midfield. So it's going to be a short field for Jackson Treadway to play with.
Carmel will set up first and 10 from the 47-yard line.
I think we may be at the point where there are more Ben Davis fans here than there are Carmel fans. Similar to the end of the Carmel Westfield sectional game we saw last year here.
Yeah, really disappointing show out for the Carmel fans in this tough loss. Down by 4 scores at the moment, 58-30. Really, really brutal. Definitely not what many people expected here tonight.
Looks like Holden Mumau getting his first carry of the day.
22, Andrew Pippert did the ball here.
Yeah, that just goes to show the depth of Carmel. Giving the ball to Holden Mumau, he's kind of been all over the place on this Carmel team. Put him in the running back position, just really getting everyone on this team touches, and just shows that how many players can fill the role of those, and just keeping those starters healthy as we now enter less than a minute to play.
Yeah, Mumau is a senior. He's been with this team for a while, but he's had limited usage. We saw him get some minutes last week at North Central, but that situation was sort of the opposite, where Carmel had already clinched the game when they were able to give Holden Mumau some snaps. They give it back to him, trying to find the first down. Clock continues to run, approaching 30 seconds left in this game.
Yeah, the Carmel football team just looks absolutely stunned. They don't even know how to react to this loss, this blowout. I don't think any of this football team expected quite a beatdown that they got tonight. As the clock hits 15, and the Greyhounds will just about let it run out, as there's only 16 on the snap clock.
The disappointing year that we've seen from the Hounds continues tonight at home against the 1-5 Ben Davis Giants, who are now the 2-5 Ben Davis Giants. Carmel falls to under 500, sitting at 3-4 at the conclusion of this game. What did we see tonight?
Yeah, just a lack of offense. After the first quarter, the offense for the Greyhounds was just nowhere to be found, it seemed like. The defense didn't get the stops they needed to stop the run game of Elijah Price, big running back who just broke out for Ben Davis. And Carmel had no answers on either side of the ball, it seemed like, after the second half.
Yeah, like you said, Carmel's defense has been an issue all season, and we really saw the Giants come into this place and walk all over Carmel's defense. The injuries have been an issue, but beyond that, there's got to be some personnel changes, whether that's in the roster itself or even deeper than that, but this defense is running out of excuses.
Yeah, and the Carmel football team, they're going to need to go back to the drawing board this week and figure out an answer for next week, because they're taking on a tough Warren Central team, and that has now what, 6-1?
6-1.
They are now 6-1, and Carmel just faced an opponent who's 1-5, the complete opposite record just about. So the Greyhounds need to find an answer on both sides of the ball, find people who can step up, make plays, and be consistent throughout the entirety of the game.
That'll do it for us here on CHTV. I've been Noah Bedoris with Andrew Hutzing. Good night.